Welcome to the Behaviour Revolution Scriptures, Gospel of Luke, Chapter 1. Dear Theo, many others have tried to give a report of the things that happened among us, and what they've written agrees with what we learned from the people who saw those events from the beginning. They also served Alahim by telling people his message. I studied it all carefully from the beginning. Then I decided to write it down for you in an organized way. I did this so that you can be sure that what you've been taught is true. During the time when Herod ruled Judea, there was a priest named Zechariah. He belonged to Abijah's group. His wife came from the family of Aaron. Her name was Elizabeth. Zechariah and Elizabeth were both good people who blessed and pleased Alahim. They did everything the Master commanded, always following his instructions completely. But they had no children. Elizabeth could not have a baby, and both of them were very old. Zechariah was serving as a priest before Alahim for his group. It was his group's time to serve, because Jewish priests were divided into 24 groups back in the days of Solomon's temple, back in 1 Chronicles 24. The group always chose one priest to offer the incense, and Zechariah was the one chosen this time. So he went into the temple of Alahim to offer the incense. There was a large crowd outside praying at the time the incense was offered. But don't forget, the ark was not in there. The presence of Yahuwah in the temple was not there. Then on the right side of the incense table, an angel of Alahim came and appeared to Zechariah. When he saw the angel, Zechariah freaked out and was very afraid. But the angel said to him, "Zechariah, don't be afraid. Your prayer has been heard by Alahim. Your wife Elizabeth will give birth to a baby boy, and you will name him John. You will be very happy, and many others will share your joy over his birth. He will be a great man for Alahim. He will never drink any strong wine or alcohol. Even before he is born, he will be filled with the set-apart spirit. John will help many people of Israel return to Alahim. John himself will go ahead of the Master and make people ready for his coming. He will be powerful like Elijah and will have the same spirit. He will make peace between fathers and their children. He will cause people who are not obeying Alahim to repent and change the way they behave." Zechariah said to the angel, "How can I know what you say is true? I am an old man, and my wife is also old." The angel answered him, "I am Gabriel, the one who always stands ready before Alahim. He sent me to talk to you and to tell you this good news. Now listen, you will not be able to talk until the day when these things happen. You will lose your speech because you did not believe what I told you. But everything I said will really happen." Outside, the people were still waiting for Zechariah. They were surprised that he was taking so long in the temple. Then Zechariah came outside, but he could not speak to them. So the people knew that he had seen a vision inside the temple. He was not able to speak, so he could only make signs with his hands to the people. When his time of service was finished, he went home. Later, Zechariah's wife Elizabeth became pregnant. So she did not go out of her house for 5 months. She said, "Look what the Master has done for me. He decided to help me. Now people will stop thinking there is something wrong with me." During Elizabeth's 6 months of pregnancy, During her 6th month of pregnancy, Alahim sent the angel Gabriel to a virgin girl who lived in Nazareth, a town in Galilee. She was engaged to marry a man named Joseph from the royal line of David. Her name was Mary. The angel came to her and said, "Hello there, the Master is with you, for you are very special to him." But Mary was very confused about what the angel said. She wondered, what does this mean? The angel said to her, don't be afraid, Mary, because Alahim is very pleased with you. Listen, you will become pregnant and have a baby boy. You will name him Yahusha. He will be great. People will call him the Son of the Most High Alahim. And the Master Yahuwah will make him king like his ancestor David. He will rule over the people of Jacob forever, and his kingdom will never end. Mary said to the angel, how will this ever happen? I'm still a virgin. The angel said to Mary, Alahim's set-apart spirit will come to you, and the power of the Most High will cover you. The baby will be set apart and will be called the Son of Alahim. And here's something else. Your relative Elizabeth is pregnant also. She is very old, but she is going to have a son. Everyone thought she could not have a baby, but she has been pregnant now for 6 months. Alahim can do anything. Mary said, I am the Master's servant. Let this thing you have said happen to me. Then the angel went away. Remember, this is where Yahuwah left his old self, his old name and image, and metamorphosed into a brand new creation called Yahusha for deliverance. Mary got up and went quickly to a town in the hill country of Judea. She went into Zachariah's house and greeted Elizabeth. When Elizabeth heard Mary's greeting, the unborn baby inside her jumped, and she was filled with the set-apart spirit. In a loud voice she said to Mary, Alahim has blessed you more than any other woman, and Alahim has blessed the baby you will have. You are the mother of my master, and you have come to me. Why has something so good happened to me? When I heard your voice, the baby inside me jumped with joy. Great blessings are yours because you believed what the Master said to you. You believed this would happen. Then Mary said, I praise the Master with all my heart. I am very happy because Alahim is my deliverer. I am not important, but he has shown his care for me, his lowly servant. From now on, until the end of the time, people will remember how much Alahim blessed me. Yes, the Powerful One has done great things for me. His name is very set apart. He always gives mercy to those who worship him. He reached out his arm and showed his power. He scattered those who are proud and think great things about themselves. He brought down rulers from their thrones and raised up the humble people. He filled the hungry with good things, but he sent the rich away with nothing. Alahim has blessed Israel, the people he chose to serve him. He did not forget his promise to give us his mercy. He has done what he promised to our ancestors, to Abraham and his children forever. Mary stayed with Elizabeth for about 3 months and then went home. When it was time for Elizabeth to give birth, she had a boy. Her neighbours and relatives heard that the Master was very good to her, and they were happy for her. When the baby was 8 days old, they came to circumcise him. They wanted to name him Zachariah because this was his father's name, but his mother said, no, he will be named John, or in Hebrew, Yahuchanan. The people said to Elizabeth, but no one in your family has that name. Then they made signs to his father, what would you like to name him? Zachariah asked for something to write on. Then he wrote down, his name is John. Everyone was surprised. And then Zachariah could talk again, and he began praising Alahim. And all their neighbours were afraid. In all the hill country of Judea, people continued talking about these things. Everyone who heard about these things wondered about them. They thought, what will this child be? They could see that the Master was with him. Then Zachariah, John's father, was filled with the set-apart spirit and told the people a message from Alahim. Praise to the Master Yahuah of Israel. He has come to help his people and has given them freedom. He has given us a powerful deliverer from the family of his servant David. This is what he promised through the set-apart prophets long ago. He will deliver us from our enemies and from the power of all those who hate us. Alahim said he would show mercy to our fathers, and he remembered his set-apart blood covenant. This was the promise he made to our father Abraham, a promise to free us from the power of our enemies, so that we could serve him without fear, in a way that is set apart and right for as long as we live. Now you, my little boy, will be called a prophet of the Most High Alahim. You will go first before the Master to prepare the way for him. You will make his people understand that they will be delivered by having their sins forgiven. With the loving mercy of our Alahim, a new day from heaven will shine on us. It will bring light to those who live in darkness. In the fear of death, it will guide us into the way that brings peace. And so the little boy, John, grew up and became stronger in spirit. Then he lived in areas away from other people until the time when he came out to tell Alahim's message to the people of Israel. Chapter 2. It was about that same time that Augustus Caesar sent out an order to all people in the countries that were under Roman rule. The order said that everyone's name must be put on a list or a census. This was the first counting of all the people while Quirinius was governor of Syria. Everyone travelled to their own hometowns to have their name put on the list. So Joseph left Nazareth, a town in Galilee, and went to the town of Bethlehem in Judea. It was known as the city of David. Joseph went there because he was from the line of David. Joseph registered with Mary because she was engaged to marry him. She was now very pregnant. While Joseph and Mary were in Bethlehem, the time came for her to have the baby. She gave birth to her first son. She wrapped him up well and laid him in a food box or a manger where the cattle are fed. She put him there because the inn was full. That night some shepherds were out in the fields near Bethlehem watching their sheep. An angel of Alahim appeared to them, and the esteem of Alahim was shining all around them. The shepherds were very afraid. The angel said to them, "Don't be afraid. I have some very good news for you, news that will make everyone happy. Today your deliverer was born in the city of David. He is the Messiah, our Alahim, the Master. This is how you will know. This is how you know him. You will find a baby wrapped in pieces of cloth and lying in an animal feeding box." Then a huge army of angels from heaven joined the first angel, and they were all praising Alahim, saying, "Praise Alahim in heaven and on earth. Let there be peace to the people who please him." Then the angels left the shepherds and went back to their dimension. And the shepherds said to each other, "Let's go to Bethlehem and see this great event that Alahim has told us about." So they went running and found Mary and Joseph, and there was the baby lying in the feeding box. When they saw the baby, they told them what the angels said about this child. Everyone was surprised when they heard what the shepherds told them. Mary continued to think about these things, though, trying to understand them. The shepherds then went back to their sheep, praising Alahim and thanking him for everything they had seen and heard. It was just as the angel had told them. And when the baby was 8 days old, he was circumcised, and he was named Yahusha. This name was given by the angel before the baby began to grow inside Mary. And when the days of her cleansing were completed, according to Moses' instructions regarding blood, Mary and Joseph brought Yahusha to Jerusalem so that they could present him to Alahim. In Leviticus 12 it says that 40 days after a woman gave birth, she must be made ritually clean by a ceremony at the temple. It is written in the divine Torah laws of Alahim, when a mother's first baby is a boy, he will be called set apart for Yahuwah. That's in Exodus 13. It also says that people must bring a sacrifice. You must sacrifice 2 doves or 2 young pigeons. And that's in Leviticus 12. So Joseph and Mary went to Jerusalem to do this. A man named Simeon lived in Jerusalem. He was a righteous man who was devoted to Alahim. He was waiting for the time when Alahim would come to help Israel. The set-apart spirit was with him and told him that he would not die before he saw the Messiah of Alahim. The spirit led Simeon to the temple, so he was there when Mary and Joseph brought the baby Yahusha to do what the divine laws said they must do. Simeon took the baby in his arms and thanked Alahim. Now, Master, you can let me, your servant, die in peace, as you said, for I have seen with my own eyes how you will deliver your people. Now all people can see your mighty plan. He is a light to show your way to the other nations, and he will bring honor to your people Israel. And Yahusha's father and mother were amazed at what Simeon said about their son. Then Simeon blessed them and said to Mary, "Many in Israel will fall, and many will rise because of this boy. He will be a sign from Alahim that some will not accept it. So the secret thoughts of many will be made known, and the things that happen will be painful for you, like a sword cutting through your heart." And Anna, a prophetess, was there at the temple also. She was from the family of Phanuel in the tribe of Asher. She was now very old. She had lived with her husband for 7 years before he died and left her alone. She was now 84 years old. Anna was always at the temple. She never left. She worshipped Alahim by fasting and praying day and night. Anna was there when Joseph and Mary came to the temple. She praised Alahim and talked about Yahusha to all those who were waiting for Alahim's redemption in Jerusalem. Joseph and Mary finished doing all the things that the divine laws of Yahuwah commanded. Then they went home to Nazareth, to their own town in Galilee. The little boy Yahusha was developing into a mature young man, full of wisdom and favor, and Alahim was blessing him. Every year Yahusha's parents went to Jerusalem for the Passover festival. When Yahusha was 12 years old, they went to the festival as usual. And when the festival was over, they went home. But Yahusha stayed in Jerusalem, but his parents did not know that he'd stayed behind. They travelled for a whole day, thinking that Yahusha was with them in the group. And when they finally realized, they began looking for him among their family and close friends, but they did not find him. So they went back to Jerusalem to look for him there. And after 3 days, they finally found the young Yahusha sitting in the temple area with the teachers, listening and asking them questions. Everyone who heard him was amazed at his understanding and wise answers. When his parents saw him, they also wondered how this was possible. And his mother said, "Son, why on earth did you do this to us? Your father and I have been searching everywhere, worried sick about you." But Yahusha said to them, "Why did you have to look for me? You should have known that I must be where my Father's work is." But they did not understand the meaning of what he said to them. So Yahusha went. He went back with them to Nazareth and obeyed them. And his mother was still thinking about all these things constantly. And as Yahusha grew taller, he continued to grow in wisdom also. Alahim was pleased with him, and so were the people who knew him. Chapter 3. It was the 15th year of the rule of Tiberius Caesar, and these men were under Caesar: Pontius Pilate, the governor of Judea; Herod, the ruler of Galilee; Philip, Herod's brother, the ruler of Tyre and Trachonitis; and Lysanias, the ruler of Abilene. Anna and Caiaphas were the high priests. Annas was retired, and Caiaphas was still the active high priest. During this time, John, the son of Zechariah, was living in the desert, and he received a message from Elohim. So he went through the whole area around the Jordan River and told the people Elohim's good news of deliverance. He proclaimed an immersion, a baptism of repentance, to show that they wanted to change their lives, and then their sins would be forgiven. This is like the words written in the book of Isaiah the prophet. There is someone shouting in the desert, "Prepare the way for Yahuwah, make the path straight for him. Every valley will be filled, and every mountain and hill will be made flat. Crooked roads will be made straight, and rough roads will be made smooth. Then everyone will see how Elohim will deliver his people." Crowds of people came to be baptized by John, but he said to them, "You brood of vipers, who warned you to run from Elohim's judgment that's coming? Change your hearts, repent, and prove that you have changed by your behavior. I know what you're about to say, but Elohim is our Father. That means nothing. I tell you now that Elohim can make children for Elohim from these here rocks. The axe is now ready to cut down the tree, and every tree that does not produce the good fruit of behavior will be cut down and thrown into the fire." So the people asked John, "What should we do then?" He answered, "If you have 2 shirts, share with someone who does not have one. If you have food, share that too." Even the tax collectors came to John. They wanted to be immersed too. They said to him, "Teacher, what should we do?" He told them, "Don't take more taxes from people than what you've been ordered to collect." The soldiers asked him, "What about us? What should we do?" He said to them, "Don't bully people or tell lies to make people give you money. Be happy with the pay that you get." Everyone was hoping for the Messiah to come, and they wondered about John. They thought, maybe he is the Messiah. And John's answer to this was, "I baptize you in water, but someone is coming later who can do more than I can. I'm not even worthy to be the slave who unties his sandals. He will baptize you in spirit and fire. He will come ready to clean the grain. He will separate the good grain from the straw, and he will put the good portion into his barn. Then he will burn the useless part with a fire that cannot be stopped." John said many other things like this to encourage the people to repent, and he told them the good news of deliverance. When all the people were being baptized, Yahusha came and was baptized too. And while he was praying, the sky opened, and the set-apart Spirit came down on him like a dove. Then a voice came from heaven saying, "This is my beloved Son, with whom I'm very pleased." John later criticized Herod, the ruler, for what he had done with Herodias, the wife of Herod's brother, as well as for all the other bad things he had done. So Herod added another bad thing to all his other wrongs by putting John in jail. When Yahusha began to teach, he was about 30 years old, and people assumed by law that Yahusha was the son of Joseph with Mary, who was the son of Eli, who was the son of Matthat, son of Levi, son of Melchi, son of Janai, son of Joseph, son of Matthias, son of Amos, son of Nahum, son of Esli, son of Haggai, son of Math, son of Matthias, son of Samin, son of Josech, son of Jodah, son of Jonan, son of Resha, son of Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel, son of Neri, son of Melchi, Adi, Kosam, Elmadam, Joshua, Eleazar, Jorim, Mathat, Levi, Judah, Joseph, Jonam, Eliakim, Meliah, Meneh, Matha, Nathan. Mary came from David's son Nathan's line, and Joseph came from David's son Solomon's line, which you can see in Matthew chapter 1. So both Mary and Joseph came from David's line, one through Nathan and one through Solomon. Nathan was son of David, of course, with Bathsheba, son of Jesse, son of Obed, son of Boaz, with Ruth, who was son of Salmon, with Rahab, who was son of Nashon, son of Abinadab, son of Amin, son of Ani, Hezron, Perez, who was son of Judah, with Tamar, who was son of Jacob, with Leah, who was son of Isaac, with Rebekah, who was son of Abraham, with Sarah, who was son of Terah, son of Nahor, Zerug, Ru, Peleg, Eber, Shelah, Canaan, Arphaxad, who was son of Shem, who was son of Noah, who was son of Lamech, Methuselah, Enoch, Jared, Mahalalel, Canaan, Enos, Seth, who was son of Adam, with Eve, who was son of Alahim in the beginning. Chapter 4. Now, filled with the set-apart Spirit, Yahusha returned from the Jordan River, and then the Spirit led him into the desert. There the devil tempted Yahusha for 40 days. Yahusha ate nothing during this time, and when it was finished, he was hungry. The devil said to him, "If you are the son of Alahim, let this rock here turn to bread." Yahusha answered, "It has been written, man will not live by bread alone, but by every word from the mouth of Alahim." Then the devil took Yahusha, and in a moment of time showed him all the kingdoms of the world. The devil said to him, "I will make you king over all these places. You will have power over them, and you will get all the esteem. It has all been given to me, so I can give it to anyone I want. I will give it all to you, though, if you will only worship me." Yahusha answered, "Get lost, Satan, for it has been written, you will worship Yahuah your Alahim, and only serve him." Then the devil led Yahusha to Jerusalem, and put him on a high place at the edge of the temple area. Then he said to him, "If you are the son of Alahim, jump off. For the scriptures say, Yahuah will command his angels to take care of you. Their hands will catch you, so that you won't even hit your foot on a rock." Yahusha answered, "Well, it's also been written, you must not test Yahuah your Alahim." That's in Deuteronomy 6. Then the devil finished tempting Yahusha in every way and went away to wait until a better time. Then Yahusha went back to Galilee with the power of the Spirit. Stories about him began to spread all over the area around Galilee. He began to teach in the synagogues, and everyone praised him. Yahusha traveled to Nazareth, the town where he grew up. On the Sabbath day he went to the synagogue, as he always did. He stood up to read. The book of Isaiah the prophet was given to him. He opened the book and found the place where this is written: "The Spirit of the Master is on me, for he has chosen me to bring the good news of deliverance to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to set the captives free, and restore sight to the blind, to send away crushed ones, and to proclaim the acceptable year of Alahim." Yahusha closed the book, gave it back to the helper, and sat down. As everyone in the synagogue watched him closely, he began to speak to them, saying, "Today, this scripture has been concluded or fulfilled." That's right. While you heard me reading these words just now, they were all coming true. Everyone there said good things about Yahusha. They were amazed to hear him speak such wonderful words. They said, "How is this even possible? Isn't he just Joseph and Mary's son?" Yahusha said to them, I know you will tell me the old saying, 'Doctor, heal yourself.' You want to say, 'We heard about the things you did in Capernaum. Do those same things here in your own hometown.' But then he said, 'The truth is, a prophet is not accepted in his own hometown. During the time of Elijah, it did not rain in Israel for 3.5 years. There was no food anywhere in the whole country. There were many widows in Israel during that time. But the fact is, Elijah was sent to none of those widows in Israel. He was sent only to a widow in Zarephath, a town in Sidon. And there were many people with leprosy living in Israel too during the time of the prophet Elisha, but none of them were healed. The only one was Naaman, and he was from the country of Syria, not Israel." When the people in the synagogue heard this, they were very angry. They got up and forced Yahusha to get out of town. Their town was built on a hill. They took Yahusha to the edge of the hill to throw him off, but he miraculously walked right through the midst of the crowd and went away. He made himself invisible to them and just walked through. Yahusha went to Capernaum, a city in Galilee. On the Sabbath day he taught the people. They were amazed at his teaching because he spoke with true authority. In the synagogue there was a man who had an evil spirit from the devil inside him. The man shouted loudly, "Yahusha of Nazareth, what do you want with us? Did you come here to destroy us? I know who you are, Alahim set apart one." But Yahusha warned the evil spirit to stop, saying, "Shut up now and get out." The evil spirit threw the man down on the ground in front of everyone. Then the evil spirit left the man and did not hurt him. And the people were amazed. They said to each other, "What does this mean? With authority and power, he even commands evil spirits and they come out." And so the news about Yahusha spread to every place in the whole area. Yahusha left the synagogue and went to Simon Peter's house. Simon's mother-in-law was very sick. She had a high fever. They asked Yahusha to do something to help her. He stood very close to her and ordered the sickness to go away. And the sickness left her, and she got up and began serving them. When the sun went down, the people brought their sick friends to Yahusha. They had many different kinds of sicknesses, and Yahusha laid his hands on each sick person and healed them all. Demons came out of many people, and the demons shouted, "You are the son of Alahim." But Yahusha gave a strong command for the demons not to speak, because they knew that he was the Messiah. The next day, Yahusha went to a place to be alone. The people looked for him, and when they found him, they tried to stop him from leaving. But he said to them, "I must proclaim the good news of the kingdom of heaven to other towns too, you know, for this is why I was sent." Then Yahusha spoke of the good news in the synagogues in Judea. Chapter 5. As Yahusha stood beside Lake Galilee, a crowd of people pushed to get closer to him and to hear the teachings of Alahim. Yahusha saw 2 boats at the shore of the lake. The fishermen were washing their nets. Yahusha got into the boat that belonged to Simon. He asked Simon to push off a little from the shore. Then he sat down in the boat and taught the people on the shore. When Yahusha finished speaking, he said to Simon, "Take the boat into the deep water. If all of you will put your nets into the water, you will catch some fish." But Simon answered, "Master, we worked hard all night trying to catch fish and caught nothing. But you say I should put the nets into the water, so I will." The fishermen put their nets into the water. Their nets were filled with so many fish that they began to break. They called to their friends in the other boats to come and help them. The friends came, and both boats were filled with so many fish that they were almost sinking. The fishermen were all amazed at the many fish they caught. When Simon Peter saw this, he bowed down before Yahusha and said, "Go away from me, Master, go away, for I am a sinful man." James and John, the sons of Zebedee, were amazed too. James and John were working together with Simon. Yahushua said to Simon, "Don't be afraid. From now on, your work will be to bring in people, not fish." The men brought their boats to the shore. They left everything and followed Yahushua. One time Yahushua was in town where a very sick man lived. This man was covered with leprosy. When the man saw Yahushua, he bowed before Yahushua and begged him, "Master, you have the power to heal me if you want." Yahushua said, "I do want, and you are healed." Then he touched the man, and immediately the leprosy disappeared. Then Yahushua said, "Don't tell anyone about what happened, but go and let the priest look at you and offer a gift to Alahim for your healing, as Moses commanded. This will show people that you are truly clean." But the news spread about Yahushua more and more. Many people came to hear him and to be healed of their sicknesses. Yahushua often went away to other places just to be alone so that he could pray. One day Yahushua was teaching the people. The Pharisees and teachers of the law were sitting there too. They had come from every town in Galilee and Judea, from Jerusalem. The Father was giving Yahushua the power to heal people. There was a man who was paralyzed, and some other men were carrying him on a mat. They tried to bring him and put him down before Yahushua, but there were so many people that they could not find a way to Yahushua. So they went up on the roof and lowered the crippled man down through a hole in the ceiling. They lowered the mat into the room so that the crippled man was lying before Yahushua. Yahushua saw how much belief they had and said to the sick man, "Friend, your sins are forgiven." The Jewish teachers of the law and the Pharisees thought to themselves, "Who is this man who dares to say such things? What an insult to Alahim. No one but Alahim can forgive sins." But Yahushua knew what they were thinking and said, "Why do you have doubts in your minds? The Son of Man has power on earth to forgive sins, but how can I prove this to you? Maybe you are thinking it was easy for me to say, 'Your sins are forgiven.' There's no proof of that really, that it happened, is there? But what if I say to the man, 'Stand up and walk'? Then you will be able to see that I really have this power." So Yahushua said to the paralyzed man, "I tell you, stand up, take your mat, and go home." And the man immediately stood up in front of everyone. He picked up his mat and walked home, praising Alahim. Everyone was completely amazed and began to praise Alahim. They were filled with great respect for Alahim's power. They said, "Today we saw amazing things." After this, Yahushua went out and saw a tax collector sitting at his place for collecting taxes. His name was Levi. Yahushua said to him, "Follow me." And Levi got up, left everything, and followed Yahushua. Then Levi held a big dinner at his house for Yahushua. At the table there were many tax collectors and some other people too. But the Pharisees and those who taught the law for the Pharisees began to complain to the followers of Yahushua, "Why do you eat and drink with tax collectors and other sinners?" Yahushua answered them, "It is the sick people who need a doctor, not those who are already healthy. I've not come to ask good people. I have not come to ask good people to repent and change. I've come to deliver the sinners, so that they can be made whole again." They said to Yahushua, "John's followers often fast and pray, the same as the followers of the Pharisees, but your followers eat and drink all the time." Yahushua said to them, "Well, at a wedding you can't ask the friends of the bridegroom to be sad and fast while he's still with them, can you? But the time will come when the groom will be taken away from them, and then his friends will fast." Yahushua told them this story, "No one takes cloth off a new coat to cover a hole in an old coat. That would ruin the new coat, and the cloth from the new coat would not be the same as the old coat. Also, no one ever pours new wine into old wineskins. The new wine would break them. The wine would spill out and the wineskins would be ruined. You always put new wine into new wineskins. No one who drinks old wine wants new wine. They say the old wine is just fine, which means new teachings and instructions must be written on a new heart by a new spirit. For without this divine heart operation, no seeds of deliverance can be planted to begin the metamorphosis, like what Yahuah went through to become Yahusha, the new first fruit being. This must happen first. This happens at repentance when we enter the narrow gate vein of Yahusha. Yahusha Alahim for our deliverance. Chapter 6. One time on a Sabbath day, Yahusha was walking through the grain fields. His disciples picked the grain, rubbed it in their hands, and ate it. But some Pharisees said, "Why are you doing that? It is against the law of Moses to do that on the Sabbath day." Yahusha answered, "You have read about what David did when he and the people with him were hungry, haven't you? David went into Elohim's house. He took the bread that was offered to Elohim and ate it, and he gave some of the bread to the people with him. This was against the law of Moses, which says that only the priests can eat it." Then Yahusha said to the Pharisees, "The Son of Man is master over the Sabbath day." And on another Sabbath day, Yahusha went into the synagogue and taught the people. A man with a crippled right hand was there. The teachers of the law and the Pharisees were watching Yahusha very closely. They were waiting to see if he would heal on the Sabbath day. They wanted to see him do something wrong so they could accuse him. But Yahusha knew what they were thinking. He said to the man with the crippled hand, "Get up and stand here where everyone can see." And the man got up and stood there. Then Yahusha said to them, "I ask you, which is the right thing to do on the Sabbath day? To do good or to do evil? Is it right to save a life or to destroy one?" Yahusha looked around at all of them and said to the man, "Hold out your hand." The man held out his hand, and it was healed. The Pharisees and the teachers of the law got so mad they couldn't think straight. They talked to each other about what they could do to Yahusha. A few days later, Yahusha went out to a mountain to pray. He stayed there all night, praying to Elohim. The next morning, he called his disciples together, all 12. These are the ones he chose: Simon, and Yahusha had called him Peter; Andrew, brother of Peter; James, John, Philip, Bartholomew, Matthew, Thomas, James, son of Alphaeus, Simon, called the Zealot, Judas, son of James, and Judas Iscariot, the one who turned against Yahusha. Yahusha and the disciples came down from the mountain. Yahusha stood on a flat place, and a large crowd of his followers were there. Also there were many people from all around Judea, Jerusalem, and the seacoast cities of Tyre and Sidon. They all came to hear Yahusha teach and to be healed of their sicknesses. He healed the people who were troubled by evil spirits. Everyone was trying to touch him because the power was coming from him, and Yahusha healed them all. Yahusha looked at his followers and said, "Great blessings belong to you who are poor. The kingdom of heaven belongs to you. You'll be happy. Great blessings and happiness belong to you who hunger now. You will be filled. Great blessings and happiness belong to you who are crying now. You will be happy and laughing. People will hate you because you belong to the Son of Man. They will cut you off, leave you, and insult you. They will think it is wrong even to say your name. When these things happen, know that great blessings belong to you. You can be happy then and jump for joy because you have a great reward in heaven. The ancestors of those people did the same things to the prophets. And how bad it will be for you rich people because you had your easy life. How bad it will be for you people who are full now, because you will be hungry. How bad it will be for you people who are laughing now, because you will be sad and cry. How bad it is when everyone says nothing but good about you. Just look at the false prophets. Their ancestors always said good things about them. But I say, you people who are listening to me, love your enemies. Do good to those who hate you. Ask Elohim to bless the people who ask for bad things to happen to you. Pray for the people who are mean to you. If someone hits you on the side of your face, let him hit the other side too. If someone takes your coat, don't stop them from taking your shirt too. Give to everyone who asks you for something. When someone takes something that is yours, don't ask for it back. Do for others what you want them to do for you. If you only love those who love you, should you get any special praise for doing that? No, even sinners love to love those who love them. If you do good only to those who do good to you, should you get any special praise for doing that? No, even sinners do that. If you lend things to people, always expecting to get something back, should you get any special praise for that? No, even sinners lend to other sinners so that they can get back the same amount. I'm telling you to love your enemies and do good to them. Lend to people without expecting to get anything back. If you do this, you will have a great reward. You will be children of the Most High Alahim. Yes, because Alahim is good, even to the people who are full of sin and not thankful. Give love and mercy the same as your Father gives love and mercy. Don't judge others, and Alahim will not judge you. Don't condemn others, and you will not be condemned. Forgive others, and you will be forgiven. Give to others, and you will receive. You will be given much. It will be poured into your hands, more than you can hold. You will be given so much that it will spill into your lap. The way you give to others is the way Elohim will give to you. Yahusha told them the story. Can a blind man lead another blind man? No, both of them will fall into a ditch. Students are not better than their teachers, but when they have been fully taught, they will be like their teacher. Why do you notice the small piece of dust that is in your friend's eye, but you don't see the big piece of wood, the log that is in your own eye? You say to your friend, let me get that little piece of dust out of your eye, mate. Why don't you say this instead? Can't you see that big piece of wood in your own eye? You are a hypocrite. First, take the wood out of your own eye. Then you will see clearly to get the dust out of your friend's eye. A good tree does not produce bad fruit, and a bad tree does not produce good fruit. Every tree is known by the kind of fruit it produces. You won't find figs on thorny weeds, and you can't pick grapes from thorn bushes. Good people have good things stored in their hearts. That's why they say good things. But those who are evil have hearts full of evil, and that's why they say things that are evil. What people say with their mouths comes from what's filled their heart. Why do you call me master, master, but don't do what I say? The people who come to me, who listen to my teachings and obey them, I will show you what they are like. They are like a man building a house. He digs deep and builds his house on rock. The floods come and the waters crash against the house, but the flood cannot move the house because it was built well. But the people who hear my words and do not obey are like a man who builds a house without preparing a foundation. And when the floods come, the house falls down easily and is completely destroyed. Chapter 7. Yahusha finished saying all these things to the people. Then he went into Capernaum. In Capernaum there was an army officer. He had a servant who was very sick. He was near death. The officer loved the servant very much. When he heard about Yahusha, he sent some older Jewish leaders to him. He wanted the men to ask Yahusha to come and save the life of his servant. The men went to Yahusha. They begged Yahusha to help the officer. They said, "This officer is worthy to have your help, but he loves our people, and he built the synagogue for us." So Yahusha went with them. He was coming near the officer's house when the officer sent friends to say, "Master, you don't need to do anything special for me. I am not good enough for you to come into my house. That is why I did not come to you myself. You need only to give the order, and my servant will be healed. I know this because I am a man under the authority of other men, and I have soldiers under my authority. I tell one soldier, 'Go,' and he goes. And I tell another soldier, 'Come here,' and he comes. And I say to my servant, 'Do this,' and my servant obeys me." When Yahusha heard this, he was amazed. He turned to the people following him and said, "I tell you, this is the most belief I have seen anywhere, even in Israel." The group that was sent to Yahusha went back to the house. There they found that the servant was healed. The next day, Yahusha and his followers went to a town called Nain. A big crowd was traveling with them. When Yahusha came near the town gate, he saw some people carrying a dead body. It was the only son of a woman who was a widow. Walking with her were many other people from the town. When the master saw the woman, he felt so sorry for her and said, "Don't cry." He walked to the open coffin and touched it. The men who were carrying the coffin stopped. Yahusha spoke to the dead son, "Young man, I tell you, get up." Then the boy sat up and began to talk, and Yahusha gave him back to his mother. Everyone was filled with fear. They began praising Yahuwah and said, "A great prophet is here with us, and Alahim is taking care of his people." This news about Yahusha spread all over Judea and to all the other places around there. John's followers told him about all these things. John called for 2 of his followers. He sent them to Yahusha to ask, "Are you the one we heard was coming, or should we wait for someone else?" So the men came to Yahusha. They said, "John the Baptist sent us to you with this question, 'Are you the one who is coming, or should we wait for someone else?'" Right then, Yahusha healed many people of their sicknesses and diseases. He healed those who had evil spirits and made many who were blind able to see again. Then he said to John's followers, "Go tell John what you have seen and heard. The blind can see, the crippled can walk, people with leprosy are healed, the deaf can hear, the dead are brought back to life, and the good news of deliverance is being told to the poor. Great blessings belong to those who don't have a problem accepting me." When John's followers left, Yahusha began talking to the people about John. "What did you people go out in the desert to see? Someone who is weak, like a stem of grass blowing in the wind? Really? What did you expect to see out there? Someone dressed in fine clothes? Of course not. People who wear fancy clothes and live in luxury are all in king's palaces. So what did you go out to see? A prophet? Yes, John is a prophet, but I tell you, he's more than that. This scripture was written about him. Listen, I will send my messenger ahead of you. He will prepare the way for you. I tell you, no one ever born is greater than John, but even the least important person in the kingdom of heaven is greater than John." When the people heard this, they all agreed that Alahim's teaching was good. Even the tax collectors agreed. These were the people who were baptized by John. But the Pharisees and the experts in the law refused to accept Alahim's plan for themselves. They did not let John baptize them. "What will I say about the people of this time?" Yahusha said. "What can I compare them to? What are they like? They are like children sitting in the marketplace. One group of children calls to the other children and says, 'We played flute music for you, but you did not dance. We sang a sad song, but you did not cry.' Well, John the Immerser came and did not eat the usual food or drink wine. And you say, 'He has a demon inside him.' But the Son of Man came eating and drinking. And you say, 'Look at him. He eats too much and drinks too much. He's a friend of tax collectors and other sinners.' But wisdom is shown to be right by those who accept it. One of the Pharisees asked Yahusha to eat with him. Yahusha went into the Pharisee's house and took a place at the table. There was a sinful woman in that town. She knew that Yahusha was eating at the Pharisee's house, so the woman brought some expensive perfume in an alabaster jar. She knelt at Yahusha's feet crying. Then she began to wash his feet with her tears. She dried his feet with her hair. She kissed his feet many times and rubbed them with the perfume. When the Pharisee who asked Yahusha to come to his house saw this, he thought to himself, if this man were a prophet, he would know that the woman who is touching him is a sinner and unclean. In response, Yahusha said to the Pharisee, Simon, I have something to say to you. Simon said, Let me hear it, teacher. Yahusha said, There were 2 men. Both men owed money to the same banker. One man owed him 500 silver coins. The other man owed him 50 silver coins. The men had no money, so they could not pay their debt. But the banker told the men that they did not have to pay him. Which one of those men, those 2 men, will love him more? Simon answered, I think it would be the one who owed him the most money. Yahusha said to him, You're right. Then he turned to the woman and said to Simon, Do you see this woman? When I came into your house, you gave me no water for my feet, but she washed my feet with her tears and dried my feet with her hair. You did not greet me with a kiss, but she has been kissing my feet since I came in. You did not honor me with oil for my head, but she rubbed my feet with her sweet-smelling oil. I tell you that her many sins are forgiven. This is clear because she showed great love. People who are forgiven only a little will love only a little. Yahusha said to her, Your sins are forgiven. The people sitting at the table began to think to themselves, Who does this man think he is? How can he forgive sins? Yahusha said to the woman, Because you believed, you are saved. You're delivered from your sins. Now go in peace. Chapter 8. The next day Yahusha traveled through some cities and saw small towns. Yahusha told the people a message from Alahim, the good news about the kingdom of heaven. The 12 disciples were with him. There were also some women with him. Yahusha had healed these women of sicknesses and evil spirits. One of them was Mary, who was called the Magdalene. 7 demons had come out of her. Also with these women were Joanna, the wife of Chuza, the manager of Herod's property, Susanna, and many other women. These women used their own money to help Yahusha and his disciples. A large crowd came together. People came to Yahusha from every town, and he told them this story. A farmer went out to sow seed. While he was scattering the seed, some of it fell beside the road. People walked on the seed, and the birds ate it all. Other seed fell on rock. It began to grow, but then died because it had no water. Some other seed fell among the thorny weeds. This seed grew, but later the weeds stopped the plants from growing. The rest of the seed fell on good ground. This seed grew and made 100 times more grain. Yahusha finished the story. Then he called people out, You people who hear me, listen to this. Yahusha's disciples asked him, What does this story mean? He said, You have been chosen to know the secret truths about the kingdom of heaven, but I use stories to speak to other people. I do this so that they will look, but they will not see. They will listen, but they will not understand. This is what the story means. The seed is Alahim's living word. Some people are like the seed that fell beside the path. They hear Alahim's teaching, but then the devil comes and causes them to stop thinking about it. This keeps them from believing and being delivered. Others are like the seed that fell on rock. That is like the people who hear Alahim's teaching and gladly accept it, but they don't have deep roots. They believe for a while, but when trouble comes, they turn away from Alahim. What about the seed that fell among the thorny weeds? That is like the people who hear Alahim's teaching, but they let the worries, the riches and pleasures of this life stop them from growing. So they never produce a crop. And what about the seed that falls on the good ground? That is like the people who hear Alahim's teaching with a good, honest heart. They obey it and patiently produce a good crop. Of course, that crop is behaviour. No one lights a lamp and then covers it with a bowl or hides it under a bed, do they? Instead, they put the lamp on a lampstand so that the people who come in will have enough light to see. Everything that is hidden will be revealed. Every secret thing will be made known, and everyone will see it. So think carefully about what you are hearing. The people who have some understanding will receive more, but those who do not have any understanding will lose even what they think they have. Yahusha's mother and brothers came to visit him, but they could not get close enough to him because there were so many people. Someone said to Yahusha, "Your mother and your brothers are standing outside. They want to see you." Yahusha answered them, "My mother and my brothers are those who listen to Alahim's teaching and obey it." One day, Yahusha and his followers got into a boat. He said to them, "Come with me across the lake." And so they started across. While they were sailing, Yahusha slept. A big storm blew across the lake, and the boat began to fill with water. They were in danger. The followers went to Yahusha and woke him up. They said, "Master, Master, we will drown." Yahusha got up. He gave a command to the wind and to the waves. The wind stopped and the lake became calm. Then he said to his followers, "Come on, guys, where's your belief?" They were afraid and amazed. They said to each other, "What kind of man is this? He commands the wind and the water, and they obey him. He's Alahim." Yahusha and his followers sailed on across the lake. They sailed to the area where the Gerasene people live, across from Galilee. When Yahusha got out of the boat, a man from that town came to him. This man had demons inside him. For a long time he had worn no clothes. He did not live in a house, but in the caves where the dead are buried. The demon inside the man had often seized him, and he had been put in jail with his hands and feet in chains. But he would always break the chains. The demon inside him would force him to go out to the places where no one lived. Yahusha commanded the evil spirit to come out of the man. When the man saw Yahusha, he fell down before him, shouting loudly, "What do you want with me, Yahusha, Son of the Most High Alahim? Please don't punish me." Yahusha asked him, "What is your name?" The man answered, "Legion." He said his name was Legion because many demons had gone into him. The demons begged Yahusha not to send them into the bottomless pit. On that hill there was a big herd of pigs eating. The demons begged Yahusha to allow them to go into the pigs, so he allowed them to do this. Then the demons came out of the man and went into the pigs. The herd of pigs ran down the hill into the lake and were all drowned. The men who were caring for the pigs ran away and told the story in the fields and in the towns. People went out to see what had happened. They came to Yahusha and found the man sitting there at the feet of Yahusha. The man had clothes on and was in his right mind again. The demons were gone. This made the people afraid. The men who saw these things happen told the others all about how Yahusha made the man well. All those who lived in the area around Gerasa asked Yahusha to go away because they were so afraid. So Yahusha got into the boat to go back to Galilee. The man he had healed begged to go with him, but Yahusha said to him, saying, "Go back home." Yahusha sent him away, saying, "Go back home and tell people what Alahim did for you." So the man went all over town telling what Yahusha had done for him. When Yahusha went back to Galilee, the people welcomed him. Everyone was waiting for him. A man named Jairus came to him. He was a leader of the synagogue. He had only one daughter. She was 12 years old, and she was dying. So Jairus bowed down at the feet of Yahusha and begged him to come to his house. While Yahusha was going to Jairus' house, the people crowded all around him, and a woman was there who had been bleeding for 12 years. She had spent all her money on doctors, but no doctor was able to heal her. The woman came behind Yahusha and touched the bottom of his coat, and at that moment her bleeding stopped. Then Yahusha said, "Who touched me?" They all said they had not touched him. And Peter said, "Master, people are all around you, pushing against you." But Yahusha said, "No, someone touched me. I felt the power go out from me." When the woman saw that she could not hide, she came forward, shaking. She bowed down before Yahusha while everyone listened. She told why she touched him. Then she said that she was healed immediately when she touched him. Yahusha said to her, "My daughter, you are made well because you believed. Now go in peace." And while Yahusha was still speaking, someone came from the house of the synagogue leader and said, "Your daughter has died. Don't bother the teacher anymore." But Yahusha heard this and said to Jairus, "Don't be afraid. Just believe, and your daughter will be well." Yahusha went to the house. He let only Peter, John, James, and the girl's father and mother go inside with him. Everyone was crying and feeling sad because the girl was dead. But Yahusha said, "Don't cry. She's not dead. She's only sleeping." And then the people laughed at him because they knew that this girl was dead. But Yahusha held her hand and called to her, "Little girl, stand up." Her spirit came back into her, and she stood up immediately. Yahusha said, "Give her something to eat." The girl's parents were amazed, and he told them not to tell anyone about what happened. Chapter 9. Yahusha called his 12 disciples together. He gave them power to heal sicknesses and power to force demons out of people. He sent them to tell about the kingdom of heaven and to heal the sick. He said to them, "When you travel, don't take a walking stick. Also, don't carry a bag for food or money. Take for your trip only the clothes you are wearing. When you go into a house, stay there until it is time to leave. If the people in the town will not welcome you, go outside the town and shake the dust off your feet as a warning to them." So the disciples went out. They traveled through all the towns. They told the good news of deliverance and healed people everywhere. Herod the ruler heard about all these things that they were happening. He was confused because some people said, "John the Baptist has risen from death." Others said, "Elijah has come to us." And others, some said, "One of the prophets from long ago has risen from death." Herod said, "Well, I cut off John's head. So who is this man I hear these things about?" Herod continued trying to see Yahusha. When the disciples came back, they told Yahusha what they had done on their trip. Then he took them away to a town called Bethsaida. There, he and his followers could be alone together. But the people learned where Yahusha went and followed him. He welcomed them and talked with them about the kingdom of heaven. He healed the people who were sick. Late in the afternoon, the 12 disciples came to Yahusha and said, "No one lives in this place, so send the people away. They need to find food and places to sleep in the farms and towns around here." But Yahusha said to the disciples, "You give them something to eat." They said, "We only have 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. Do you want us to go buy food for all these people? There are too many," because there were about 5,000 men there at least. Yahusha said to his disciples, "Tell the people to sit in groups of about 50 people." So the disciples did this, and everyone sat down. Then Yahusha took the 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. He looked up into the sky and thanked Elohim for the food. Then he broke it into pieces, which he gave to the disciples to give to the people. They all ate until they were full, and there was a lot of food left. 12 baskets were filled with the pieces of food that were not eaten. One time Yahushua was praying alone, and his disciples came together there, and he asked them, "Who do people say I am?" They answered, "Some people say you're John the Baptist, others say you're Elijah. Some people say you are one of the prophets from long ago that has come back to life." Then Yahushua said to his disciples, "And who do you say I am?" Peter answered, "You are the Messiah, the son of Alahim." Yahushua warned them not to tell anyone this. Then Yahushua said, "The Son of Man must suffer many things. He will be rejected by the older Jewish leaders, the leading priests and the teachers of the law. He will be killed, but after 3 days he will be raised from the dead." Yahushua continued to say to all of them, "Any of you who want to be my follower must stop thinking about yourself and what you want. You must be willing to carry your torture stake that is given to you every day for following me. Any of you who try to save the life you have will lose it, but you who give up your life for me will save it. It is worth nothing for you to have the whole world if you yourself are destroyed or lost. Don't be ashamed of me and my teaching. If that happens, I will be ashamed of you when I come with my divine greatness and that of the Father and the set-apart angels. Believe me when I say that some of you people standing here will see the kingdom of heaven before you die." About 8 days after Yahushua said all these things, he took Peter, John and James and went up on a mountain to pray. While Yahushua was praying, his face began to change. His clothes became shining white. Then 2 men were there, talking with him. They were Moses and Elijah. They also looked bright and esteemed. They were talking with Yahushua about his death that would happen in Jerusalem. Peter and the others were asleep, but they woke up and saw the esteem of Yahushua. They also saw the 2 men who were standing with him. When Moses and Elijah were leaving, Peter said, "Master, it's good that we are here. We will put 3 tents here, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." But he didn't really know what he was saying. While Peter was saying these things, a cloud came all around them. Peter, John, and James were afraid when the cloud covered them. A voice came from the cloud and said, "This is my son. He is the one I have chosen. Obey him." When the voice stopped, only Yahushua was there. Peter, John, and James said nothing, and for a long time after that, they told no one about what they had seen. The next day, Yahushua, Peter, John, James came down from the mountain. A large group of people met Yahushua. A man in the group shouted to him, "Teacher, please come and look at my son. He is the only child I have. An evil spirit comes into him, and then he shouts. He loses control of himself and foams at the mouth. The evil spirit continues to hurt him and almost never leaves him. I begged your followers to make the evil spirit leave my son, but they could not do it." Yahushua answered, "You people today just have no belief. Your lives are all so wrong. How long must I be with you and be patient with you?" Then Yahushua said to the man, "Bring your son here." While the boy was coming, the demon threw the boy to the ground. The boy lost control of himself, but Yahushua gave a strong command to the evil spirit. Then the boy was healed, and Yahushua gave him back to his father. All the people were amazed at the great power of Alahim. The people were still amazed about all the things Yahushua did. He said to his followers, "Don't forget what I tell you now. The Son of Man will soon be handed over to the control of other men." But the followers did not understand what he meant. The meaning was hidden from them, so they could not understand it, but they were afraid to ask Yahushua about what he said. Yahushua's disciples began to have an argument about which one of them was the greatest. Yahushua knew what they were thinking, so he took a little child and stood the child beside him. Then he said to his followers, "Whoever accepts a little child like this in my name is accepting me, and anyone who accepts me is also accepting the one who sent me. The one among you who is the most humble, this is the one who is great. The greatest shall be the least." John answered, "Master, we saw someone using your name to force demons out of people. We told him to stop, because he does not belong to our group. Yahushua said to him, Don't stop him. Whoever is not against you is for you. The time was coming near when Yahushua would leave and go back to heaven. He decided to go to Jerusalem. He sent some men ahead of him. They went into a town in Samaria to make everything ready for him. But the people there would not welcome Yahushua, because he was going towards Jerusalem. James and John, the followers of Yahushua, saw this. They said, Master, do you want us to call fire down from heaven and destroy these people? But Yahushua turned and criticized them for saying this. Then he and the disciples went to another town. They were all traveling along the roads. Someone said to Yahushua, I will follow you anywhere you go. But he answered, Foxes have holes and the birds of the sky have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head. Yahushua said to another man, Follow me. But the man said, Master, let me go and bury my father first. But Yahushua said to him, Let the people who are dead bury their own dead. You must go and speak about the kingdom of heaven. Another man said, I will follow you, Master, but first let me go and say goodbye to my family. Yahushua said, Anyone who begins to plough a field but looks back is not prepared for the kingdom of heaven. Chapter 10. After this, Yahushua chose 72 more followers. 72 more followers. He sent them out in groups of 2. He sent them ahead of him into every town and place where he planned to go. He said to them, There is such a big harvest of people to bring in, but there are only a few workers to help harvest them. Alahim owns the harvest, so ask him to send more workers to help bring in the harvest. You can go now, but listen, I am sending you, and you will be like sheep among wolves. Don't carry any money, a bag or sandals. Don't stop to talk with people on the road. Before you go into a house, say, Peace be with this house. If the people living there love peace, your blessing of peace will stay with them. But if not, your blessing of peace will come back to you. Stay in the peace-loving house. Eat and drink what the people there give you. A worker should be given his pay. Don't leave that house to stay in another house. If you go into a town and the people welcome you, eat the food they give you. Heal the sick people who live there and tell them the kingdom of heaven is now very near you. But if you go into a town and the people don't welcome you, then go out into the streets of that town and say, Even the dirt from your town that sticks to our feet, we wipe off against you. But remember that the kingdom of heaven is coming soon. I tell you, on the judgment day it will be worse for the people of that town than for the people of Sodom. It will be bad for you, Chorazin. It will be bad for you, Bethsaida. I did many miracles in you. If those same miracles had happened in Tyre and Sidon, then the people in those cities would have repented and changed their lives and stopped sinning a long time ago. They would have worn sackcloth and sat in ashes to show that they were sorry for their sins. But on the judgment day it will be worse for you than for Tyre and Sidon. And you, Capernaum, will you be lifted up to heaven? No, you will be thrown down to the place of death. When anyone listens to you, my followers, they are really listening to me. But when anyone refuses to accept you, they are really refusing to accept me. And when anyone refuses to accept me, they are refusing to accept the one who sent me. And when the 72 followers came back from their trip, they were very happy. They said, Master, even the demons obeyed us when we used your name. Yahushua said to them, Of course they do. I saw Satan falling like lightning from the sky. He is the enemy. But know that I have given you more power than he has. I have given you the power to crush his snakes and scorpions under your feet. Nothing will hurt you. Yes, even the spirits obey you. And you can be happy, not because you have this power, but because your names are written in heaven. In that hour, Yahushua was praising in the Spirit and feeling very happy. Yahushua said, I praise you, Father, Master of heaven and earth. I am thankful that you have hidden these things from those who are so apparently wise and so smart. But you have hidden, and you have shown them to people who are like little children. Shown them to people who are like little children. Yes, Father, you did this because it's what you really wanted to do. My Father has given me all these things. No one knows who the Son is, only the Father knows, and only the Son knows who the Father is. The only people who will know about the Father are those the Son chooses to tell. They're Alahim. Then Yahusha turned to his disciples. They were there alone with him. He said, "It is a great blessing for you to see what you see now. I tell you, many prophets and kings wanted to see what you see now, but they could not. And they wanted to hear what you hear, but they could not." Then an expert in the law stood up to test Yahusha. He said, "Teacher, what must I do to get eternal life?" Yahusha said to him, "Well, what is written in the Torah law? What do you understand from it?" The man answered, "Love Yahuah Alahim with all your heart, with all your being, with all your strength and all your mind. Also love your neighbor the same as you love yourself." Yahusha said, "Your answer is right. Do this and you will have eternal life." But the man wanted to show that the way he was living was right. So he said to Yahusha, "But who is my neighbor?" To answer this question, Yahusha said, "A man was going down the road from Jerusalem to Jericho. Some robbers surrounded him, tore off his clothes and beat him. Then they left him lying there on the ground, almost dead. It happened that a Jewish priest was going down that road. When he saw the man, he did not stop to help him. He walked away. Next, a Levite came near. He saw the hurt man, but he went around him. He would not stop to help him either. He just walked away. Then a Samaritan man travelled down that road. He came to the place where the hurt man was lying. He saw the man and felt very sorry for him. The Samaritan went to him and poured olive oil and wine on his wounds. Then he covered the man's wounds with cloth. The Samaritan had a donkey. He put the hurt man on his donkey and took him to an inn. There he cared for him. The next day the Samaritan took out 2 silver coins and gave them to the man who worked at the inn. He said, "Take care of this hurt man, please. If you spend more money on him, I will pay it back to you when I come again." Then Yahusha said, "Which one of these 3 men do you think was really a neighbor to the man who was hurt by the robbers?" The teacher of the law answered, "The one who helped him." Yahusha said, "Then go and do the same." While Yahusha and his followers were traveling, he went into a town, and a woman named Martha let him stay at her house. She had a sister named Mary. Mary was sitting at Yahusha's feet and listening to him teach. But her sister Martha was busy rushing around, doing all the work and duties that needed to be done. Martha went in and said, "Master, don't you care that my sister has left me to do all the work by myself? Tell her to get up and help me." But Yahusha answered her, "Martha, Martha, you are getting worried and upset about too many things. Only one thing is important right now, and Mary has made the right choice, and it will never be taken away from her." Chapter 11. One time Yahusha was out praying, and when he finished, one of the disciples said to him, "John taught his followers how to pray. Master, teach us how to pray too." Yahusha said to the followers, "This is how you should pray. Father, we pray that your name will always be kept set apart and exalted. We pray that your kingdom will come soon. Give us the food we need each day. Forgive our sins, just as we forgive everyone who has done wrong to us. And don't let us be tempted or lead us into trials, but rescue us from the wicked one." Then Yahusha said to them, "Suppose one of you went to your friend's house very late at night and said to him, 'A friend of mine has come into town to visit me, but I have nothing for him to eat. Please give me 3 loaves of bread.' Your friend inside the house answers, 'Go away, don't bother me. The door is already locked. My children and I are in bed. I cannot get up and give you the bread now.' I tell you, maybe friendship is not enough to make him get up to give you the bread. but he will surely get up to give you what you need if you continue to ask. So I tell you, continue to ask, and Elohim will give to you. Continue to search, and you will find. Continue to knock, and the door will be open for you. Yes, whoever continues to ask will receive. Whoever continues to look will find, and whoever continues to knock will have the door open for them. Do any of you have a son? What would you do if your son asked you for a fish? Would any father give him a snake? Or if he asked for an egg, would you give him a scorpion? Of course not. Even you, who are wrong, know how to give good things to your children. So surely your heavenly Father knows how to give the set-apart Spirit to the people who ask him. One time Yahushua was sending a demon out of a man who could not talk. When the demon came out, the man was able to speak again. The crowds were amazed. But some of the people said, he uses the power of Beelzebub, Satan, the ruler of the demons, to force demons out of people. Some others there wanted to test Yahushua. They asked him to do a miracle as a sign from Yahuwah. But he knew what they were thinking. So he said to them, every kingdom that fights against itself will be destroyed, and a family that fights against itself will break apart. So if Satan is fighting against himself, how will his kingdom survive? You say that I use the power of Satan to force out demons? But if I use Satan's power to force out demons, then what power do your people use when they force out demons? So your own people will prove that you are wrong. But I use the power of Elohim to force out demons. This shows that the kingdom of heaven has now come to you. When a strong man with many weapons guards his own house, the things in his house are safe. But suppose a stronger man comes and defeats him, the stronger man will take away the weapons that the first man trusted to keep his house safe. Then the stronger man will do what he wants with the other man's things. Whoever is not with me is against me, and anyone who does not work with me is working against me. When an evil spirit comes out of someone, it travels through dry places, looking for a place to rest, but it finds no place to rest. So then it says, well, I will go back to the home I left. And when it comes back, it finds that the home is all neat and clean. Then the evil spirit goes out and brings back 7 other spirits more evil than itself, and they all go and live in there, and that person has even more trouble than before. Their end is worse than their beginning. As Yahushua was saying these things, a woman with the people there called out to him, blessings from Elohim, because the woman who gave birth to you and who fed you. But Yahushua said, the people who hear the teaching of Elohim and obey it, they are the ones who have his blessing. The crowd grew larger and larger. Yahushua said, the people who live today are evil. They ask for a miracle as a sign from Elohim, but no miracle will be done to prove anything to them. The only miracle will be the sign that happened to the prophet Jonah, who was held in the belly of the fish for 3 days and 3 nights. Jonah was a sign for those who lived in Nineveh, and it is the same. It's the same with the Son of Man. He will be a sign for the people of his time. On the judgment day, you people who live now will be compared with the Queen of the South, yes, the Queen of Sheba, and she will be a witness who shows how guilty you are. So why do you say this? Because she travelled from far, far away to listen to Solomon's wise teaching. And I tell you that someone far greater than Solomon is right here, but you won't listen to him. On the judgment day, you people who live now will also be compared with the people from Nineveh, and they will be a witness who show how guilty you are. I say this because when Jonah preached to those people, they repented and changed their hearts and lives. And you are listening to someone far greater than Jonah, but you refuse to repent. No one takes a light and puts it under a bowl or hides it. Instead, they put it on a lampstand so that the people who come in can see. The only light and the only source of light for the body is the eye. When you look at people, and want to help them, you are full of light. But when you look at people in a selfish way, you are full of darkness. So be careful. Don't let the light in you become darkness. If you are full of light, and there is no part of you that is dark, then you will be all bright, as though you have the light of a lamp shining on you. After Yahusha had finished speaking, a Pharisee asked Yahusha to eat with him, so he went and took a place at the table. But the Pharisee was surprised when he saw that Yahusha did not wash his hands first before the meal, which was Jewish custom, considered important to the Pharisees. Yahusha said to him, "The washing you Pharisees do is like cleaning only the outside of a cup or a dish. But what is inside you? You want only to cheat and hurt people. You are foolish. The same one who made what is outside also made what is inside. So pay attention to what is inside. Give to the people who need help. Then you will be fully clean. But it will be bad for you Pharisees. You give Elohim 1/10 of the food you get, even your mint, your rue, and every other little plant in your garden. But you forget to be fair to others and to love Elohim. These are the things you should do, and you should also continue to do those other things too. It will be bad for you Pharisees, because you love to have the important seats in the synagogues, and you love for people to show respect to you in the marketplaces. It will be bad for you, because you are like hidden graves. People walk on them without even knowing it." One of the experts in the law said to Yahusha, "Teacher, when you say these things about the Pharisees, you are criticizing our group too." Yahusha said, "So be it. It will be bad for you too. You experts in the law, you scribes, for you make strict rules that are very hard for people to obey. You try to force others to obey your rules, but you yourselves don't even try to follow any of those rules. It will be bad for you because you build tombs for the prophets, but these are the same prophets that your ancestors killed, and now you show all the people that you agree with what your ancestors did. They killed the prophets, and you build tombs for the prophets. This is why Elohim in his wisdom said, 'I will send prophets and followers to them. Some of my people and followers will be killed by evil men. Others will be treated dreadfully.' So you people who live now will be punished for the deaths of all the prophets who were killed since the beginning of the world. You will be punished for the killing of Abel. You will be punished for the killing of Zechariah, who was killed between the altar and the temple. Yes, I tell you that you people will be punished for them all. It will be bad for you, you experts in the law, you scribes and Pharisees. You have taken away the key of knowledge." That's the name of Yahuwah, the name of the Creator. You've taken away the key of all knowledge for people to learn about Elohim. You yourselves would not enter in to learn and experience, and now you have stopped others from entering in too. The name of Yahuwah, which he left along with his first wife Israel to become the first creation Yahusha, meaning I am deliverance. Without the key of his name and seeing the journey of who he became from the throne to death, resurrection, ascension, and now seated victorious and esteemed on the throne as the Lamb of heaven, well, if you don't know him like this, how can he know you? All you can see is the ink on the pages of Scripture. You've got to have the key of knowledge. Yahuwah became Yahusha. When Yahusha went out, the teachers of the law and the Pharisees began to give him so much trouble. They tried to make him answer questions about many things. They were trying to find a way to catch Yahusha saying something wrong so they could accuse him of dreadful blasphemy. Chapter 12. Many thousands of people came together. There were so many that they were stepped on. They stepped on each other. Before Yahusha spoke to the people, he said to his disciples, "Be careful of the yeast of the Pharisees." I mean that they are hypocrites. Everything that is hidden will be revealed, and everything that is secret will be made known. What you say in the dark will be told in the light, and what you whisper in a private room will be shouted from the rooftops. Then Yahusha said to the people, I tell you, my friends, don't be afraid of people. They can kill the body, but after that, they can do nothing more to hurt you. I will show you the one to fear. You should fear Elohim, who has the power to kill you and also to throw you into destruction. Yes, he is the one you should fear. When birds are sold, 5 small birds cost only 2 pennies to be sacrificed as an offering. But Elohim does not forget any of them. Yes, Elohim even knows how many hairs you have on your head. So don't be afraid. You are worth much more than many birds. I tell you, if you stand before others and are willing to say you believe in me, then I will say that you belong to me. I will say this in the presence of Elohim's angels. But if you stand before others and say you do not believe in me, then I will say you do not belong to me. I will say this in the presence of Elohim's angels. Whoever says something against the Son of Man can be forgiven, but whoever speaks insults and blasphemy and mockery against the set-apart Spirit and his movement in a situation will not be forgiven. When men bring you into the synagogues before the leaders and other important men, don't worry about what you will say. The set-apart Spirit will teach you at that time what you should say. One of the men in the crowd said to Yahusha, Teacher, our father just died and left some things for us. Tell my brothers to share them with me. But Yahusha said to him, Who said I should be your judge or decide how to divide your father's things between you two? Then Yahusha said to them, Be careful and guard against all kinds of greed. People do not get life from the many things they own and collect. Then Yahusha used this story. There was a rich man who had some land. This land grew and very good crops of food. He thought to himself, What will I do? I have no place to keep all my crops. Then he said, I know what I will do. I will tear down my barns and build bigger barns. I will put all my wheat and good things together in my new barns. Then I can say to myself, I have many good things stored. I have saved enough for many years. Rest, eat, drink, and enjoy life. But Elohim said to that man, Foolish man, tonight you will die. So what about the things you prepared for yourself? Who will get those things now? This is how it will be for anyone who saves things only for himself. To Elohim, that person is not rich. Yahusha said to his disciples, So I tell you, don't worry about the things you need to live, what you will eat or what you will wear. Life is more important than food, and the body is more important than what you put on it. Look at the birds. They don't plant, they don't harvest or save food in houses or barns, but Elohim feeds them. And you are worth much more than crows. None of you can add any time to your life by worrying about it. And if you can't do the things, even the little things, why worry about the bigger things? Think about how the wildflowers grow. They don't work or make clothes for themselves. But I tell you that even Solomon, the great and rich king, was not dressed as beautifully as one of these flowers. If Elohim makes what grows in the field so beautiful, what do you think he will do for you? That's just grass. One day it's alive, and the next day someone throws it into a fire. But Elohim cares enough to make it beautiful, so surely he will do much more for you. Your belief is so small, isn't it? So don't always think about what you will eat or what you will drink. Don't worry about it. That's what all those people who don't know Elohim are always worrying and thinking about. But your Father knows what you need. He knows you need these things. What you should be thinking about is the kingdom of heaven. Then he will give you all these other things you need. Don't fear, little flock. Your Father wants to share his kingdom with you. Sell the things you have and give that money to those who need it. This is the only way you can keep your riches from being lost. You will be storing treasure in heaven that lasts forever. Thieves can't steal that treasure, and moths can't destroy it. Your heart will be where your treasure is. Be ready, be fully dressed, and have your lights shining. Be like servants who are waiting for their master to come home from a wedding party. The master comes and knocks, and the servants immediately open the door for him. When their master sees that they are ready and waiting for him, it will be a great day for those servants. I can tell you without a doubt, the master will get himself ready to serve a meal and tell the servants to sit down. Then he will serve them. Those servants might have to wait until midnight or later for their master, but they will be glad they did not. They will be glad when they did, when he comes in and finds them still waiting. What would a homeowner do if he knew when a thief was coming? You know he would not let the thief break in. So you also must be ready, because the Son of Man will come at a time when you don't even expect it. Peter said, Master, did you tell this story for us or for all people? Yahushua said, Who is the wise and trusted servant? The master trusts one servant to give the other servants their food at the right time. Who is the servant that the master trusts to do that work? When the master comes and finds him doing the work he gave him, it will be a day of blessing for that servant. I can tell you without a doubt, the master will choose that servant to take care of everything he owns. But what will happen if that servant is evil and thinks his master will not come back soon? He will begin to beat the other servants, men and women. He will eat and drink until he has had too much. Then the master will come when the servant is not ready, at a time when the servant is not expecting him. Then the master will punish that servant and send him away to be with the other people who don't obey. That servant knew what his master wanted him to do, but he did not make himself ready or try to do what his master wanted. So that servant will be punished very much. But what about the servant who does not know what his master wants? He also does things that deserve punishment, but he will get less punishment than the servant who knew what he should do. Whoever has been given much will be responsible for much. Much more will be expected from the one who has been given more. Yahushua continued speaking, I came to bring fire to the world. I wish it were already burning. There is a kind of baptism of trials that I must suffer through. I feel very troubled until it is finished. Do you think that I came to give peace to the world? No, I came to bring division and to separate, to bring a sword. From now on, a family of 5 will be divided, 3 against 2, 2 against 3. A father and son will be divided. The son will turn against his father, the father will turn against his son. A mother and her daughter will be divided. The daughter will turn against her mother, the mother will turn against her daughter. A mother-in-law and her daughter-in-law will be divided. Daughter-in-law will turn against her mother-in-law, mother-in-law will turn against her daughter-in-law. Then Yahushua said to the people, when you see the clouds growing bigger in the west, you say, a rainstorm is coming, and soon it begins to rain. When you feel the wind begin to blow from the south, you say, oh, it will be a hot day. And you are right. But you are hypocrites. You can understand the weather. Why don't you understand what is happening now? Why can't you decide for yourselves what is right? Suppose someone is suing you and you are both going to court. Try your hardest to settle it on the way there. For if you don't settle it, it will be in the hand of the courts, and you may have to go before the judge, and the judge will hand you over to the officer, who will throw you into jail. And I tell you, you will not get out of there until you have paid every cent you owe. Settle your disputes privately. Chapter 13. Some people there with Yahushua at that time told him about what had happened to some worshippers from Galilee. Pilate had them killed. Their blood was mixed with the blood of the animals they had brought for sacrificing. Yahushua answered, do you think this happened to those people because they were more sinful than all other people from Galilee? No, they were not. But if you don't decide now to repent and change your behavior, you will all be destroyed like those people. And what about those 18 people who died when the Tower of Siloam fell on them? Do you think they were more sinful than everyone else in Jerusalem? They were not. But I tell you, if you don't decide now to repent and change your behavior, change your life, you will all be destroyed too. Yahushua told this story. A man had a fig tree He planted it in his garden. He came looking for some fruit on it, but he found none. He had a servant who took care of his garden. So he said to his servant, I have been looking for fruit on this tree for 3 years, but I never find any. Cut it down. Why should it waste the ground? But the servant answered, Master, let the tree have 1 more year to produce fruit. Let me dig up the dirt around it and fertilize it. Maybe the tree will have fruit on it next year. If it still does not produce, then you can cut it down. Yahusha taught in one of the synagogues on the Sabbath day. A woman was there who had an evil spirit inside her. It had made the woman crippled for 18 years. Her back was always bent. She could not stand up straight. When Yahusha saw her, he called to her, Woman, you have been made free from your sickness. He laid his hands on her, and immediately she was able to stand up straight. She began praising Alahim. The synagogue leader was angry because Yahusha healed on the Sabbath day. He said to the people, There are 6 days for work, so come to be healed on one of those days. Don't come for healing on the Sabbath day. But Yahusha answered, You people are hypocrites. All of you untie your work animals and lead them to drink water every day, even on the Sabbath day. This woman that I healed is a true descendant of Abraham, but Satan has held her for 18 years. Surely it is not wrong for her to be made free from her sickness on a Sabbath day. When Yahusha said this, all those who were criticizing him felt ashamed of themselves, and all the people were happy for the wonderful things he was doing. Then Yahusha said, What is the kingdom of heaven like? What can I compare it to? The kingdom of heaven is like the seed of the mustard plant. Someone plants this seed in their garden. The seed grows and becomes a tree, and the birds build nests on its branches. Yahusha again said, What can I compare the kingdom with? It is like yeast that a woman mixes into a big bowl of flour to make bread. The yeast makes all the dough rise. Yahusha was teaching in every town and village. He continued to travel towards Jerusalem. Someone said to him, Master, how many people will be delivered? Only a few? Yahusha said, Strive to enter through the narrow gate. Yes, the door to heaven is narrow, so try hard to enter it. Many people will want to enter there, but they will not be able to go in. If a man locks the door of his house, you can stand outside and knock on the door all you want, but he won't open it. You can say, Sir, open the door for us, but he will answer, I don't know you. Where did you come from? Then you will say, We ate and drank with you. You taught in the streets of our town. But he will say to you, I don't know you. Where did you come from? Get away from me. Go away. You are all people who do wrong. You will see Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and all the prophets in the kingdom of heaven, but you will be left outside. There you will cry and grind and gnash your teeth with pain. People will come from the east and the west and the north and the south. They will sit down at the table in the kingdom. There are last who will be first, and first who will be last. People who have the lowest place in life now will have the highest place in my kingdom. And people who have the highest place now will have the lowest place. Just then some Pharisees came to Yahusha and said, Go away from here and hide. Herod wants to kill you. But Yahusha said to them, Go tell that fox, today and tomorrow I am forcing demons out of people and finishing my work of healing. Then the next day the work will be finished. And after that I must go, because all prophets should die in Jerusalem. O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, speaking to his old wife Israel, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, you kill the prophets, you stone to death the people Alahim sent to you. How many times I wanted to help your people. I wanted to gather them together as a hen gathers her chicks under her wings, but you did not let me. Now your home will be left completely empty and desolate. I tell you, you will not see me again until that time when you will say, Blessed is he who comes in the name of Yahuwah. And that's from Psalm 118. Blessed is he who comes in the name of Yahuwah. That is Yahusha. Yahuwah metamorphosed to become the new Alahim man Yahusha. And Yahusha is Alahim. Chapter 14. On the Sabbath day, Yahusha went to the home of a leading Pharisee to eat with him. The people there were all watching him very closely. A man with a bad disease was there in front of him. The man had dropsy, a sickness that caused the body to swell larger and larger. Yahusha said to the Pharisee and the experts in the law, the scribes, "Is it right or wrong to heal on the Sabbath day?" But they would not answer his question. So he took the man and healed him. Then he sent the man away. Yahusha said to the Pharisees and teachers of the law, "If your son or work animal falls into a well on the Sabbath day, you know you would pull him out immediately, wouldn't you?" The Pharisees and teachers of the law could say nothing against what he said. Then Yahusha noticed that some of the guests were choosing the best places to sit. So he told this story. When someone invites you to a wedding, don't sit in the most important seat. They may have invited someone more important than you. And if you are sitting in the most important seat, they will come to you and say, "Give this man your seat." Then you will have to move down to the last place and be embarrassed. So when someone invites you, go sit in the seat that is not important. Then they will come to you and say, "Friend, move up here to this better place." And what an honor it will be for you in front of all the other guests. Everyone who makes themselves important will be made humble. But everyone who makes themselves humble will be made important. Then Yahusha said to the Pharisee who had invited him, "When you throw a lunch or a dinner party, don't invite only your friends, brothers, relatives, and rich neighbors. At another time they will pay you back by inviting you to eat with them. Instead, when you give a feast, invite the poor, invite the crippled and the blind. Then you will have great blessings, because these people cannot pay you back. They have nothing, but Alahim will reward you at the time when all his people will rise from the dead." One of the men sitting at the table with Yahusha heard these things. The man said to him, "It will be a great blessing for anyone to eat a meal in Alahim's kingdom." Yahusha said to him, "A man held a big dinner party banquet. He invited many people. When it was time to eat, he sent his servant to tell the guests, 'Come, the food is ready.' But all the guests said they could not come. Each one made an excuse. The first one said, 'Oh, I've just bought a field, so I must go look at it. Please excuse me, I can't come.' Another man said, 'I've just bought 5 pairs of work animals. I must go and try them out. Please excuse me, I can't make it, sorry.' A third man said, 'I just got married. I can't come.' So the servant returned and told his master what happened, and the master was angry. He said, 'Hurry, go into the streets and alleys of the town. Go to the highways and byways. Bring me the poor, the crippled, the blind, and the lame.' And later the servant said to him, 'Master, I did what you told me to do, but we still have places for more people.' So the master said to the servant, 'Go out to the highways and country roads. Tell the people there to come. I want my house to be full. I tell you, not one of those people I invited first will eat any of this food I prepared.' Many people were traveling with Yahusha. He said to them, 'If anyone comes to me but does not hate their family, they cannot be disciple.' To love less than. That's what to hate your family, hate father and mother means. To love less than. To hate the behaviour, not to hate the person. Not to remain clinging and holding them in such high regard. That's what he means. Anyone who loves me but does not hate their family, father and mother, they cannot be my disciple. You must love me more than your father, mother, wife, children, brothers, sisters, even more than your own life. Whoever will not carry the torture stake that is given to them when they follow me cannot be my disciple." If you wanted to build a building, you would first sit down and decide how much it would cost, wouldn't you? You must see if you have enough money to finish the job. And if you don't do that, you might begin the work, but you would not be able to finish it. And if you could not finish it, everyone would laugh at you. They would say, "This man began to build a house, but he was not able to finish it." If a king is going to fight against another king, first he will sit down and plan. If he only has 10,000 men, he will try to decide if he is able to defeat the other king who has 20,000 men. If he thinks he cannot defeat the other king, he will send some men to ask for peace, while that king's army is still far away. It is the same for each of you. You must leave everything you have to follow me. If not, you cannot be my disciple. Salt is a good thing, but if the salt loses its salty taste, you can't make it salty again. It is worth nothing. You can't even use it as dirt or dung. People just throw it away. You people who hear me, listen. Chapter 15. Many tax collectors and sinners came to listen to Yahusha. Then the Pharisees and the teachers of the law, the scribes, they began to complain. Look, this man welcomes sinners and even eats with them. Then Yahusha told them this story. Suppose one of you has 100 sheep, but one of them gets lost. What will you do? You will leave the other 99 sheep there in the field and go out and look for the lost sheep, won't you? You will continue to search for it until you find it, and when you find it, you will be very happy. You will carry it home, go to your friends and neighbors and say to them, "Be happy with me and rejoice because I found my lost sheep." In the same way, I tell you, heaven is rejoicing. It's a happy place when one sinner decides to repent and change. There is more joy for that one sinner than for 99 good people who don't even know they need to change. Suppose a woman has 10 silver coins, but she loses them. She loses one of them. She will take a light and clean the whole house. She will look carefully for the coin under until she finds it. And when she finds it, she will call her friends and neighbors and say to them, "Be happy with me and rejoice because I have found the coin that I lost." In the same way, it's a happy time for the angels of Alahim when one sinner repents and decides to change. Then Yahusha said, there was a man who had 2 sons. The younger son said to his father, "Give me now the part of your property that I am supposed to receive someday." So the father divided his wealth between his 2 sons, giving them their inheritance. A few days later, the younger son gathered up all he had and left. He travelled far away to another country, and there he wasted all his money living like a fool. He spent everything he had on loose living, whores and parties. And after that, there was a terrible famine throughout the country. He was hungry and needed money. So he went and got a job with one of the people who lived there. The man sent him into the field to feed the pigs. He was so hungry that he wanted to eat the food the pigs were eating, but no one gave him anything. The son realized that he had been very stupid and foolish, and he thought, all of my father's hired workers and servants have plenty of food, but here I am, almost dead because I have nothing to eat. I will leave and go to my father. I will say to him, "Father, I have sinned against Alahim and have done wrong to you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son, but please let me be like one of your hired workers." So he left and went to his father. While the son was still a long way off, his father saw him coming. His father had been watching and waiting the whole time. His father saw him coming and was moved with love and compassion for him, so he ran to him and hugged him and kissed him. The son said, "Father, I have sinned against Alahim and have done wrong to you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son." But the father called to his servants, "Hurry, bring the best clothes and put them on him. Also put a ring on his finger and good sandals on his feet. And bring our best calf and kill it so that we can celebrate with plenty to eat. For my son was dead, but now he is alive again. He was lost, but now he is found." So they began to celebrate with great joy. But the older son, who had been out in the field working the whole time, when he came near the house, he heard the sound of music and dancing. So he called to one of the servant boys and asked, "What's going on in there?" The boy said, "Your brother has come back, and your father killed the best calf to eat. He's rejoicing and happy because he has his son back safe and sound." Then the oldest son was angry and would not go into the party. So his father went out and begged him to come in. But he said to his father, "Look, for all these years I have worked like a slave for you. I have always done what you told me to do, and you never gave me even a young goat for a party with my friends. But then this son of yours comes home after wasting all your money on whores, and you kill the best calf for him? What the hell, man?" His father said to him, "Oh, my son, you are always with me, and everything I have is yours. But this is a day to be happy and rejoice and celebrate. For your brother was dead, but now he is alive. He was lost, but now he is found. How wonderful." Chapter 16. Yahushua said to his disciples, "Once there was a rich man. He hired a manager to take care of his business. Later he learned that his manager was cheating him, so he called the manager in and said to him, 'I have heard bad things about you. Give me a report of what you have done with my money. You can't be my manager anymore.' So the manager thought to himself, 'What will I do? My master is taking my job away from me. I'm not strong enough to dig ditches, and I'm too proud to beg. I know what I'll do. I will do something to make friends so that when I lose my job, they will welcome me into their homes.' So the manager called in each person who owed the master some money. He asked the first one, 'How much do you owe my master?' He answered, 'I owe him 100 jars of olive oil.' The manager said to him, 'Here is your bill. Hurry, sit down and make the bill less. Write 50 jars. Then the manager asked another one, 'How much do you owe my master?' He answered, 'I owe him 100 measures of wheat.' Then the manager said to him, 'Here is your bill. You can make it less. Hurry up. Write 80 measures. Later, the master told the dishonest manager that he had done a smart thing. Yes, worldly people are smarter and more shrewd in their business dealings with each other than the spiritual people of light are. I tell you, use the worldly things you have now to make friends for later. Then, when those things are gone, you will be welcomed into a home that lasts forever. Whoever can be trusted with small things can also be trusted with big things. Whoever is dishonest in little things will be dishonest in big things too. If you cannot be trusted with worldly riches, you will not be trusted with true riches. And if you cannot be trusted with the things that belong to someone else, you will not be given anything of your own. But remember, you cannot serve two masters at the same time. You will hate one master and love the other, or you will be loyal to one and not care about the other. You cannot serve Elohim and money at the same time." The Pharisees were listening to all these things. They criticized Yahushua because they all loved money. Yahushua said to them, "You make yourselves look good in front of people, but Elohim knows what is really in your hearts. What people think is important is worth nothing to Elohim. Before John the Immerser came, people were taught that the law of Moses and the writings of the prophets, but since the time of John, the good news about the kingdom of heaven is being told instead, and everyone is trying hard to get into it. But even the smallest part of the letter in the law cannot be changed. It would be easier for heaven and earth to pass away. Any man who divorces his wife and remarries another woman is guilty of adultery, and the man who marries a divorced woman is also guilty of adultery." Yahushua said there was a rich man who also dressed in the finest clothes. He was so rich that he was able to enjoy all the best things every day. There was also a very poor man named Lazarus. Lazarus' body was covered with sores. He was often put by the rich man's gate. Lazarus wanted only to eat the scraps of food left on the floor under the rich man's table, and the dogs came and licked his sores. Later, Lazarus died. The angels took him and placed him in the arms of Abraham. The rich man also died and was buried. He was sent to the place of death and was in great pain. He saw Abraham far away with Lazarus in his arms. He called, "Father Abraham, have mercy on us. Send Lazarus to me so that he can dip his finger in water and cool my tongue. I am suffering in this fire." But Abraham said, "My child, remember when you lived? You had all the good things in life, but Lazarus had nothing but problems. Now he is comforted here, and you are suffering. Also, there is a big pit between you and us. No one can cross over to help you, and no one can come here from there." The rich man said, "Then please, Father Abraham, send Lazarus to my father's house on earth. I have 5 brothers. He could warn my brothers so that they will not come to this place of pain." But Abraham said, "They have the law of Moses and the writings of the prophets to read. Let them learn from that." The rich man said, "No, Father Abraham, but if someone came to them from the dead, then they would repent and decide to change their lives." But Abraham said to him, "No, if your brothers won't listen to Moses and the prophets, they won't listen to someone who comes back from the dead either." Chapter 17. Yahushua said to his disciples, "Things will surely happen that will make people sin, but it would be very bad for anyone who makes this happen. It will be very bad for anyone who makes one of these little children sin. It would be better for them to have a millstone tied around their neck and be drowned in the sea. So be careful. If your brother or sister in Alahim's family does something wrong, warn them. If they are sorry for what they did, forgive them, even if they do something wrong to you 7 times in one day. But they say sorry, each time you should forgive them." The disciples said to Yahushua, "Please give us more belief." Yahushua said, "If your belief is as big as a mustard seed, you can say to this mulberry tree, 'Dig yourself up and plant yourself in the ocean,' and the tree will obey you. Suppose one of you has a servant who has been working in the field, ploughing or caring for the sheep. When he comes in from work, what would you say to him? Would you say, 'Come in, sit down and eat'? Of course not. You would say to your servant, 'Prepare something for me to eat. Then get ready and serve me. When I finish eating and drinking, then you can eat.' The servant should not get any special thanks for doing his job. He is only doing what his master told him to do. It is the same with you. When you finish doing all that you are told to do, you should say, 'We are not worthy of any special thanks. We have only done the work we should do.'" Yahushua was traveling to Jerusalem. He went from Galilee to Samaria. He came into a small town, and 10 men met him there. They did not come close to him because they all had leprosy, which is a contagious, deadly skin infection. But the men shouted, "Yahushua, Master, please help us." When Yahushua saw the men, he said, "Go and show yourselves to the priests." Moses said a priest must decide when a person with leprosy was well again. So go and show yourselves to the priest. While the 10 men were going to the priests, they were healed. When one of them saw that he was healed, and he went back to Yahushua, he praised Alahim loudly. He bowed down at Yahushua's feet and thanked him. He was a Samaritan. Yahushua said, 10 men were healed. But where are the other 9? This man is not even one of our people, and he is the only one who came back to give praise to Alahim. Then Yahushua said to the man, "Stand up, you can go. You were healed because you believed." Some of the Pharisees asked Yahushua, "When will the kingdom of heaven come?" Yahushua answered, "The kingdom is coming, but not in a way that you can see it. The people will not say, 'Look, the kingdom of heaven is here,' or 'There it is.' No, my kingdom is here with you already. It's inside Yahushua, soon to be inside his followers too, after Pentecost." Then Yahushua said to his disciples, "The time will come when you will be desperately want to see the Son of Man, but you'll not be able to. People will say to you, 'Look, there he is,' or 'Look, here he is.' Stay where you are, don't go away and search. When the Son of Man comes again, you will know it, trust me. On that day he will shine like lightning flashes across the sky. But first, the Son of Man must suffer many things, and the people of today will refuse to accept him.
When the Son of Man comes again, it will be the same as it was when Noah lived. People were eating and drinking and getting married, even on the day when Noah entered the ark. Then the flood came and killed them all. It will be the same as during the time of Lot, when Elohim destroyed Sodom. Those people were eating, drinking, buying, selling, planting, and building houses for themselves. They were doing these things even on the day when Lot left town. Then fire and sulfur rained down from the sky and killed them. This is exactly how it will be when the Son of Man comes again. On that day, if a man is on his roof, he will not have time to go inside and get his things. If a man is in the field, he cannot go back home. Remember what happened to Lot's wife. She turned into a pillar of salt for turning around to mourn the city she didn't want to leave. Whoever tries to keep the life they have will lose it, but whoever gives up their life will save it. That night, there may be two people sleeping in one room. One will be taken and the other will be left. There may be two women working together. One will be taken, the other will be left. There may be two men out in the field working together. One will be taken and the other will be left. The disciples asked Yahusha, "Where will this be, Master?" Yahusha answered, "Where the body is, there the eagles will also be gathered as well." Where and when Yahusha appears in all power and esteem, that is where his bride will be gathered also. Nothing to do with earthly geography and nothing to do with religion. Chapter 18. Then Yahusha taught his disciples that they should always pray and never lose hope. He used this story to teach them. Once there was a judge in a town. He did not care about Elohim. He also did not care what people thought about him. In that same town there was a woman whose husband had died. She came many times to this judge and said, "There is a man who is doing bad things to me. Give me my rights." But the judge did not want to help the woman. After a long time, the judge thought to himself, "I don't care about Elohim, and I don't care about what people think. But this woman is bothering me. If I give her what she wants, then she will leave me alone. But I don't want to give her what she wants. She will bother me until I am sick." Yahusha said, "Listen, there is meaning in what the bad judge said. Elohim's people shout to him night and day, and he will always give them what is right. He will not be slow to answer them. I tell you, Elohim will help his people quickly. But when the Son of Man comes again, will he find people on earth who believe in him?" There were some people who thought they were very good and looked down on everyone else. Yahusha used this story to teach them. One time there was a Pharisee and a tax collector. One day they both went to the temple to pray. The Pharisee stood alone, away from the tax collector. When the Pharisee prayed, he said, "Oh Elohim, I thank you that I am not as bad as other people. I am not like men who steal and cheat or commit adultery. I thank you that I am better than this filthy tax collector here. I fast twice a week and give 1/10 of everything I get." But the tax collector stood alone too. But when he prayed, he would not even look up to the heaven. He felt very humble before Elohim. He said, "Oh Elohim, have mercy on me. I am a sinner." I tell you, when this man finished his prayer and went home, he was right with Elohim. But the Pharisee, who felt that he was better than others, was not right with Elohim. People who make themselves important will be made humble, but those who make themselves humble will be made important. Some people brought their small children to Yahusha so that he could lay his hands on them to bless them. But when the disciples saw this, they told the people not to do this. But Yahusha called the little children to him and said to his disciples, "Let the little children come to me. Don't stop them, because the kingdom of heaven belongs to people who are like these little children. The truth is, you must accept my kingdom like a little child accepts things, or you will never enter it. A certain ruler asked Yahusha, "Good teacher, what must I do to get eternal life?" Yahusha said to him, "Why do you call me good? Only Alahim is good. And you know his commands. You must not commit adultery, must not murder anyone, must not steal, must not tell lies about others, must respect your father and mother." But the leader said, "Yes, I have obeyed all these commands since I was a boy." When Yahusha heard this, he said to the leader, "But there is still one thing you need to do. Sell everything you have and give the money to those who are poor. You will have riches in heaven. Then come and follow me." But when the man heard Yahusha tell him to give away his money, he was sad. He didn't want to do this because he was very rich. When Yahusha saw that the man was sad, he said, "It would be very hard for rich people to enter the kingdom of heaven. In fact, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich person to enter my kingdom." When the people heard this, they said, "Then who can be delivered then?" Yahusha answered, "Alahim can do things that are not possible for people to do." Peter said, "Look, we left everything we have and followed you." Yahusha said, "I can promise that everyone who has left their home, their wife, brothers, parents or children for Alahim's kingdom will get much more than they left. They will get many times more in this life, and in the world that is coming they will get the reward of eternal life." Then Yahusha talked to the 12 disciples alone. He said to them, "Listen, we are going to Jerusalem. Everything that Alahim told the prophets to write about the Son of Man will happen. He will be handed over to the foreigners who will laugh at him, insult him, spit on him, mocking. They will beat him with whips and then kill him. But on the third day, after his death, he will rise to life again." His disciples tried to understand this, but they could not, for the meaning was hidden from them. Yahusha came near the city of Jerusalem. A blind man was sitting beside the road. He was begging people for money. When he heard the people coming down the road, he asked, "What's happening?" They told him, "Yahusha, the one from Nazareth, is coming here." The blind man was excited and said, "Yahusha, Yahusha, son of David, please help me." The people who were in front, leading the group, criticized the blind man. They told him to be quiet. But he shouted more and more, "Son of David, help me, please." Yahusha stopped there and said, "Bring that man to me." When he came close, Yahusha asked him, What do you want me to do for you today?" He said, "Master, I want to be healed. I want to see again." Yahusha said to him, "You can see now. You are healed because you believed." Then the man was able to see. He followed Yahusha, thanking Alahim, and everyone who saw this praised Alahim for what happened. Chapter 19. Yahusha was going through the city of Jericho. In Jericho there was a man named Zacchaeus. He was a wealthy, very important tax collector. He wanted to see who Yahusha was. There were so many others who wanted to see Yahusha too, and Zacchaeus was too short to see above the people. So he ran to a place where he knew Yahusha would come. Then he climbed a sycamore tree so he could see him. When Yahusha came to where Zacchaeus was, he looked up and saw him in the tree. Yahusha said, "Zacchaeus, hurry, come down. I'm staying at your house tonight." Zacchaeus hurried and came down. He was happy to have Yahusha in his house. Everyone saw this and they began to complain. "Look at this kind of man Yahusha is staying with. Zacchaeus is a sinner." Zacchaeus said to Yahusha, "I want to do good. I will give half of my money to the poor. If I have cheated anyone, I will pay them back 4 times more." And Yahusha said, "Today deliverance has come to this family. Yes, even this tax collector is one of Alahim's chosen people from Abraham. For the Son of Man came to find lost people and deliver them." As the crowd listened to what he was saying, Yahusha went on to tell a story. He was now near Jerusalem and knew that the people thought it was almost time for the kingdom of heaven to come. So he said, a very important man was preparing to go to a country far away to be made a king. Then he planned to return home and rule his people. So he called 10 of his servants together. He gave a bag of money to each servant. He said, do business with this money until I come back. But the people in the kingdom hated the man. They sent a group to follow him to the other country. Then they said, we don't want this man to be our king. But the man was made king anyway, and when he came home he said, call those servants who have my money. I want to know how much more money they earned with it. The first servant came and said, Sir, I earned 10 bags of money with the 1 bag you gave me. The king said to him, that's great, you are a good servant. I can see that I can trust you with small things, so now I will let you rule over 10 of my cities. The second servant said, Sir, with your 1 bag of money, I earned 5 bags. The king said to his servant, you can rule over 5 cities. Then another servant came in and said to the king, Sir, here is your bag of money. I wrapped it in a piece of cloth and hid it. I was afraid of you because you are a hard man. You even take money that you didn't earn and gather food that you didn't grow. Then the king said to him, what an awfully bad and wrong servant you are. I will use your own words to condemn you. You said that I am a hard man. You said that I even take money that I didn't earn and gather food that I didn't grow. If that is so true, you should have put my money in the bank. Then at least when I came back, my money would have earned some interest. Then the king said to the men who were watching, take the bag of money away from this servant and give it to the servant who earned me 10 bags of money. The men said to the king, but sir, that servant already has 10 bags of money. The king said, people who use what they have will get more, but those who do not use what they have will have everything taken away from them. Now where are my enemies? Where are the people who did not want me to be king? Bring my enemies here and kill them. I will watch them die. After Yahusha said these things, he continued traveling towards Jerusalem. He came near Bethphage and Bethany, towns near the hills called the Mount of Olives. He sent out 2 of his disciples. He said, go into the town you can see there. When you enter the town, you will find a young donkey tied there that no one has ever ridden. Untie it and bring it here to me. If anyone asks you why you are taking the donkey, you should say, the master needs it. The 2 disciples went into town. They found the donkey exactly like Yahusha told them. They untied it, but its owners came out. They said to the disciples, why are you untying our donkey? The disciples answered, the master needs it. So the disciples brought the donkey to Yahusha. They put their coats on its back. Then they put Yahusha on the donkey. He rode along the road toward Jerusalem. The followers spread their coats on the road before him. Yahusha was coming close to Jerusalem. He was already near the bottom of the Mount of Olives. The whole group of followers were happy. They were very excited and praised Elohim. They thanked Elohim for all the powerful things they had seen. They shouted, blessed is the one who comes in the name of Yahuwah. Peace in heaven and Hosanna in the highest. Some of the Pharisees said to Yahusha, Teacher, tell your followers not to say these things. But Yahusha answered, I tell you, if my followers didn't say them, these stones here would shout out. Yahusha came near Jerusalem. Looking at the city, he began to cry for it and said, I wish you knew today what would bring you peace, but it is hidden from you now. A time is coming when your enemies will build a wall around you and hold you in on all sides. They will destroy you and all your people. Not one stone of your buildings will stay on top of another. All this will happen because you did not know the time when Elohim came to deliver you. Yahusha went into the temple area. He began to throw out the people who were selling things there. He said, the scriptures say my temple will be a house of prayer. That's from Isaiah 57. But you have changed it into a hiding place and a den for thieves. That's in Jeremiah 7. Yahusha taught the people in the temple every day. The chief priests, the teachers of the law, and some of the elders and leaders of the people wanted to kill him, but they did not know how they could do it because everyone was listening to him. The people were very interested in what Yahusha said. Chapter 20. One day Yahusha was in the temple area teaching the people. He was telling them the good news. The chief priests, teachers of the law, and older Jewish leaders came to talk to Yahusha. They said, "Tell us what authority you have to do these things. Who gave you this authority?" Yahusha answered, "Well, I will ask you a question too. Tell me, when John baptized people, did his authority come from Alahim, or was it only from other people?" The priests and scribes and the Jewish leaders all talked about this. They said to each other, "If we answer John's baptism was from Alahim, then he will say, 'Then why did you not believe John?' But if we say that John's baptism was from someone else, the people will stone us to death, because they all believed that John was a prophet." So they answered, "We don't know the answer." So Yahusha said to them, "Fantastic, then I will not tell you who gave me the authority to do these things either. You don't tell me, I don't tell you." Then Yahusha told the people this story. A man planted a vineyard. He leased the land to some farmers. Then he went away for a long time. Later it was time for the grapes to be picked. So the man sent a servant to those farmers so that they would give him his share of the grapes. But they beat the servant and sent him away with nothing. So the man sent another servant. They beat this servant too and showed no respect for him. They sent the servant away with nothing. So the man sent a third servant to the farmers. They hurt this servant badly and threw him out. The owner of the vineyard said, "What will I do now? I will send my son. I love my son very much. Maybe the farmers will respect my son." When the farmers saw the son, they said to each other, "This is the owner's son. The vineyard will all be his. But if we kill him, it will be ours." So the farmers threw the son out of the vineyard and killed him. What will the owner of the vineyard do then? He will come and kill those farmers. Then he will lease the land to some other farmers. When the people heard this story, they said, "This should never happen." But Yahusha looked into their eyes and said, "Then what does this verse mean? The stone that the builders rejected became the chief cornerstone. Everyone who falls on that stone will be broken. However, if that stone falls on you, it will crush you." And when the scribes and the chief priests heard this story, they knew it was about them. So they wanted to arrest Yahusha right then, but they were afraid of what the people would do. So the Jewish leaders waited for the right time to get Yahusha. They sent some men to him who pretended to be sincere. They wanted to find something wrong with what Yahusha said. If they found something wrong, then they could hand him over to the governor, who had the authority to arrest him. So the men said to Yahusha, "Teacher, we know what you say and teach is true. We know what you say and teach is true. It doesn't matter who is listening. You teach the same to all people. You always teach the truth about Alahim's way. So tell us, is it right for us to pay taxes to Caesar or not?" But Yahusha knew that these men were trying to trick him. He said to them, "Show me a silver coin. Whose name and picture are on it?" They said, "Caesar's." He said to them, "Then give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and give to Alahim what belongs to Alahim." The men were amazed at his wise answer. They could say nothing. They were not able to trick Yahusha there in front of the people. He said nothing they could use against him. Some Sadducees came to Yahusha, and remember, Sadducees believe that people will not rise from the dead. And they asked him, "Teacher, Moses wrote that if a married man dies and has no children, his brother must marry his widow. Then they will have children for the dead brother. One time there were 7 brothers. The first brother married a woman, but died. He had no children. Then the second brother married the woman and he died. And the third brother married the woman and he died. The same thing happened with all the other brothers. They all died and had no children. The woman was the last to die. But all 7 brothers married her. So when people rise from the dead, whose wife will this woman be? The people did levirate marriage to continue the family line. So they said, whose wife will this woman be? Yahushua said to the Pharisees, on earth people marry each other. Some people will be worthy to be raised from the dead and live again after this life. In that life they will not marry. In that life people are like angels and cannot die. They are children of Alahim because they have been raised from death. Moses clearly showed that people are raised from the dead. When Moses wrote about the burning bush, he said that the master is the Alahim of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So they were not still dead, because he is the Alahim only of living people. Yes, to Alahim they are all still living. Some of the scribes said, Teacher, your answer was very good. No one was brave enough to ask him another question. Then Yahushua said, Why do you people say that the Messiah is the son of David? In the book of Psalms, David himself says, The Master Yahuwah said to my master, Sit by me at my right side, and I will put your enemies under your power. David calls the Messiah Master. So how can the Messiah also be David's son? While all the people were listening to Yahushua, he said to the disciples, Be careful of the teachers of the law and the Pharisees. They like to walk around wearing clothes that look important, and they love for people to show respect to them in the marketplaces. They love to have the most important seats in the synagogues and the place of honor at banquets, but they cheat widows and take their homes. Then they try to make themselves look good by saying long prayers. Alahim will punish them very much. Chapter 21. Yahushua looked up and saw some rich people putting their gifts to Alahim into the temple collection box. Then he saw a poor widow put 2 small copper coins into the box. He said, This poor widow gave only 2 small coins, but the truth is, she gave more than all those rich people. They have plenty, and they gave only what they did not need. But this woman is very poor, but she gave all that she had to live on. Some of the disciples were talking about the temple. They said, This is a beautiful building, built with the best stones. Look at the many good gifts that have been offered to Alahim. But Yahushua said, The time will come when all that you see here will be destroyed. Every stone of these buildings will be thrown down to the ground. Not one stone will be left on top of another. Some disciples asked Yahushua, Teacher, when will all these things happen? What will show us that it is time for these things to happen? What are the signs of the end? Yahushua said, Be careful, don't be fooled. Many people will come using my name. They will say, I am the Messiah, and the right time has come, but don't follow them. When you hear about wars and riots and rumors of wars, don't be afraid. These things must happen first. Then the end will come later. Then Yahushua said to them, Nations will fight against other nations. Kingdoms will fight against other kingdoms. There will be great earthquakes, sicknesses, and other bad things in many places. In some places there will be no food for the people to eat. Terrible things will happen, and amazing things will come from heaven to warn people. But before all these things happen, people will arrest you and do bad things to you. They will judge you in their synagogues and put you in their jail. You will be forced to stand before kings and governors. They will do all these things to you because you follow me. But this will give you an opportunity to tell about me. Decide now not to worry about what you will say. I will give you the wisdom to say things that none of your enemies can answer. Even your parents, brothers, relatives, and friends will turn against you. They will have some of you killed. Everyone will hate you because you follow me. But none of these things can really harm you. Take hold of your lives by continuing strong in your belief through all these things. you will see armies all around Jerusalem. Then you will know that the time for its destruction has come. The people in Judea at that time should run away to the mountains. The people in Jerusalem must leave quickly. If you are near the city, don't go in. The prophets wrote many things about the time when Alahim will punish his people. The time I am talking about is when all these things must happen. During that time it will be hard for women who are pregnant or have small babies, because very bad times will come to this land. Alahim will be angry with these people. Some of the people will be killed by soldiers. Others will be made prisoners and taken to all the different countries. The set-apart city of Jerusalem will be under the control of foreigners until their time is completed. Amazing things will happen to the sun and moon and stars, and people all over the earth will be upset and confused by the noise of the sea and its crashing waves. They will be afraid, anxious and worried about what will happen to the world. Everything in the sky will be changed. Then people will see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great esteem. When these things begin to happen, stand up tall and don't be afraid. Know that it is almost time for Alahim to free you. Then Yahusha told this story. Look at all the trees. The fig tree is a good example. When it turns green, you know that summer is very near. In the same way, when you see all these things happening, you will know that the kingdom of heaven is very near. I assure you that all these things will happen while some of the people of this time are still living. The whole world, earth and sky will be destroyed, but my words will last forever. Be careful not to spend your time eating, partying and getting drunk or worrying about this life. If you do that, you won't be able to think straight, and the end might come when you are not ready. It will come as a surprise to everyone on earth, so be ready all the time. Pray that you will be able to get through all these things that will happen and stand safe before the Son of Man. During the day, Yahusha taught the people in the temple area, and at night he went out of the city and stayed all night on the Mount of Olives. Every morning all the people got up early to go listen to Yahusha at the temple. Chapter 22. It was almost time for the festival of unleavened bread, called the Passover season. The chief priests and scribes wanted to kill Yahusha, but they were trying to find a quiet way to do it because they were afraid of what the people would do. One of Yahusha's 12 disciples was named Judas Iscariot. Satan entered him, and he went and talked with the chief priests and some of the soldiers who guarded the temple. He talked to them about a way to hand Yahusha over to them. The priests were very happy about this. They promised to give Judas money for doing this, and he agreed. Then he waited for the best time to hand him over to them. He wanted to do it when no one was around to see it. And at the time of unleavened bread, when it was coming near, when the Passover lamb had to be slaughtered, Yahusha said to Peter and John, "Go and prepare the Passover meal for us to eat." They said to him, "Where do you want us to prepare the meal?" He said to them, "When you go into the city, you will see a man carrying a jar of water. Follow him. He will go into a house. Tell the owner of the house, 'The teacher asks that you please show us the room where he and his followers can eat the Passover meal.' When the owner will show you a large room, he will show you a large room upstairs that is ready for us. Prepare the meal there." So Peter and John left. Everything happened the way Yahusha said. So they prepared the Passover meal. The time came for them to eat the Passover meal. Yahusha and the disciples were together at the table. Yahusha said to them, "I wanted very much to eat this Passover meal with you before I die, for I won't be eating it again until it is given its full meaning in the new kingdom." Then Yahusha took a cup of wine. He gave thanks to Alahim for it and said, "Take this wine and divide it between everyone here, for I will never drink wine again until the kingdom of heaven comes." Then he took some bread and thanked Alahim for it. He broke off some bread pieces, gave them to the disciples and said, "This bread is my body that I am giving for you. Eat this to remember me." In the same way, after supper, Yahusha took the cup of wine and said, "This wine represents the new blood covenant from Alahim to his people, which will begin when my blood is poured out for you." Yahusha said, "But here on this table is the hand of one who will hand me over to my enemies. The Son of Man will do what Alahim has planned, but it will be very bad for the one who hands over the Son of Man to be killed." Then the disciples asked each other, "Which one of us would ever do that?" Later, Yahusha's disciples began to argue about which one of them was the most important. But Yahusha said to them, "The kings of the world rule over their people, and those who have authority over others want to be called the greatest provider for the people. But you must not be like that. The one with the most authority among you should act as if he is the least important. The one who leads should be like one who serves. Who is more important, the one serving or the one sitting at the table being served? Everyone thinks it's the one being served, right? But I have been with you as the one who serves. The greatest shall be the least. You men have stayed with me through many struggles. So I give you all authority to rule with me in the kingdom the Father has given me. You will eat and drink at my table in that kingdom. You will sit on thrones and judge the 12 tribes of Israel. Satan has asked to test you men like a farmer tests his wheat. Oh, Simon, Simon, I have prayed that you will not lose your belief. Help your brothers be strong when you return to me." But Peter said to Yahusha, "Master, I am ready to go to jail with you. I will even die with you." But Yahusha said, "Peter, before the rooster crows tomorrow morning, you will say that you don't even know me. You will say this 3 times. Then Yahusha said to his disciples, "Remember when I sent you out without money, or a bag or sandals? Did you need anything?" They said, "No." Yahusha said to them, "But now if you have money or a bag, carry that with you. If you don't have a sword, sell your coat and buy one." The scriptures say he was considered a criminal. This scripture must happen. It was written about me, and it is happening now. They said, "Look, Master, here are 2 swords." Yahusha said to them, "Well, that's enough for now." Yahusha left the city and went to the Mount of Olives. His disciples went with him. He went there often. He said to his disciples, "Pray for strength against temptation." Then Yahusha went about 50 steps away from them. He knelt down and prayed, "Father, if you are willing, please don't make me drink from this cup of suffering, but do what you want, not what I want." Then an angel from heaven came to him. Yahusha was full of pain. He struggled hard in prayer. Sweat dripped from his face like drops of blood falling to the ground. When he finished praying, he went to his disciples and he found them asleep, worn out. Yahusha said to them, "Why are you sleeping? Get up and pray for strength against temptation." While Yahusha was speaking, a crowd came up. It was led by Judas, one of the 12 disciples. He came over to Yahusha to kiss him. But Yahusha said to him, "Judas, are you using the kiss of friendship to hand over the Son of Man to his enemies?" The disciples of Yahusha were standing there too. They saw what was happening and said to Yahusha, "Master, should we use our swords?" And one of them did use his sword. He lunged at the servant of the high priest, cutting off his ear. Yahusha said, "Stop!" Then he touched the servant's ear and healed him instantly. Yahusha spoke to the group that came to arrest him. They were the chief priests, the older Jewish leaders, and the Jewish soldiers. He said to them, "Why did you come out here with swords and clubs? Do you think I'm a criminal? I was with you every day in the temple area. Why didn't you just arrest me there? But this is your time, the time when darkness is your authority." They arrested Yahusha and took him away to the house of the high priest. Peter followed Yahusha, but stayed back at a distance. The soldiers started a fire in the middle of the yard and sat together. Peter sat with them. A servant girl saw him sitting there. She could see because of the light from the fire. She looked closely at Peter's face and said, "This man was also with Yahusha." But Peter said this was not true. He said, "Hey lady, I don't know him." A short time later, someone else saw Peter and said, "You are also one of them." But Peter said, "Hey man, I'm not. I don't know him." About an hour later, another man said, "It's true. I'm sure this man was with him, because he is from Galilee." But Peter said, "Damn it, man, I don't know what you're talking about." And immediately while he was still speaking, a rooster crowed. Then Yahusha turned and looked into Peter's eyes, and Peter remembered what he had said. "Before the rooster crows in the morning, you will say 3 times that you don't know me." Then Peter ran outside and wept bitterly. The men guarding Yahusha mocked him and beat him. They covered his eyes so that he could not see them. Then they hit him and said, "Come on, be a prophet and tell us who hit you." And they shouted all kinds of insults at him. The next morning, the older leaders of the people, the chief priests and the teachers of the law came together. They led Yahusha away to their high council. They said, "If you are the Messiah, then tell us that you are." Yahusha said to them, "If I tell you I am the Messiah, you will not believe me. And if I ask you, you will not answer. But beginning now, the Son of Man will sit at the right hand of Elohim, all-powerful, in all authority, as Elohim all-powerful." And they all said, "Then you are the son of Elohim?" "Are you?" Yahusha said to them, "You said it." They said, "Why do we need any witnesses now? We all heard what he said." Chapter 23. Then the whole group stood up and led Yahusha away to Pilate. They began to accuse Yahusha and said to Pilate, "We caught this man trying to change the thinking of our people. He says we should not pay taxes to Caesar. He calls himself the Messiah, a king." Pilate asked Yahusha, "Are you the king of the Jews?" Yahusha answered, "Yes, what you say is true." Then Pilate said to the chief priests and the people, "I find nothing wrong with this man." But they kept on saying, "His teaching is causing trouble all over Judea. He began in Galilee, and now he is here." Pilate heard this and asked, "If Yahusha was from Galilee, he learned that Yahusha was under Herod's authority." Herod was in Jerusalem at that time, so Pilate sent Yahusha to him. When Herod saw Yahusha, he was very happy. He had heard all about him and had wanted to meet him for a long time. Herod wanted to see a miracle, so he was hoping that Yahusha would do one. He asked him many questions, but Yahusha said nothing. The chief priests and the teachers of the law were standing there, shouting all kinds of things to Yahusha. Then Herod and his soldiers laughed at him. They made fun of him by dressing him in clothes like kings wear. Then Herod sent him back to Pilate. In the past, Pilate and Herod had always been enemies, but on that day they became friends. Pilate called all the people together with the chief priests and the Jewish leaders. He said to them, "You brought this man to me. You said he was trying to change the people, but I judged him before you all and have not found him guilty of the things you say he's done. Herod didn't find him guilty either. He sent him back to us. Look, he has done nothing bad enough for the death penalty. So after I punish him here a little, I will let him go free." For he had to release a prisoner at the festival anyway. But they all shouted, "Impale him! Impale him! Stake him! Let Barabbas go free!" Barabbas was a man who was in jail for starting a riot in the city and for murder. He was a zealot. Pilate wanted to let Yahusha go free. So again Pilate told them that he would let him go. But they shouted again, "Impale him! Kill him on a stake!" A third time Pilate said to the people, "Why? What wrong has he done? He is not guilty. I can find no reason to kill him. So I will let him go free after I punish him a little." But the people continued to shout. They demanded that Yahusha be impaled on a torture stake. Their shouting got so loud that Pilate decided to give them what they wanted. They wanted Barabbas to go free, the one who was in jail for starting a riot and for murder, the zealot man. Pilate let Barabbas go free,
and he handed Yahusha over to be killed. This is what the people wanted. The soldiers led Yahusha away. At that same time there was a man from Cyrene named Simon coming into the city from the fields. The soldiers forced him to carry Yahusha's torture stake and walk behind him. And remember, it was a torture stake. The word is stauros, which means a stake, a staff, a pole, a piece of wood. It was not a crux or a cross, which was a pagan symbol. So this man was forced to carry Yahusha's torture stake and walk behind him. A large crowd followed Yahusha. Some of the women were sad and crying. They felt sorry for him, but Yahusha turned and said to the women, "Women of Jerusalem, don't cry for me. Cry for yourselves and for your children too. The time is coming when people will say, 'The women who cannot have babies are the ones Elohim has blessed.' It's really a blessing that they have no children to care for. Then the people will say to the mountains, 'Fall on us.' They will say to the hills, 'Cover us.'" That's from Hosea 10. If this can happen to someone who is good, what will happen to those who are guilty? There were also 2 criminals led out with Yahusha to be killed. They were led to the place called the Skull, or Golgotha. There the soldiers nailed Yahusha to the torture stake. They also nailed the criminals to the stake beside Yahusha, one on the right and the other on the left. Yahusha said, "Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing." The soldiers threw dice to divide up Yahusha's clothes between them. The people stood there and watched everything, and the Jewish leaders mocked and laughed at Yahusha. They said, "Well, if he is Elohim's chosen one, the Messiah, then let him save himself. He saved others, didn't he?" Even the soldiers laughed at Yahusha and made mockery of him. They came and offered him some sour wine. They said, "If you are the king of the Jews, save yourself." And at the top of the torture stake, these words were written, "This is Yahusha of Nazareth, the King of the Jews." One of the criminals hanging there began to shout insults at Yahusha. "Aren't you the Messiah? Then save yourself and save us too." But the other criminal stopped him and said, "You should fear Elohim. All of us will die soon. You and I are actually guilty. We deserve to die because we did wrong. But this man has done nothing wrong." Then he said, "Yahusha, remember me when you begin ruling as king." Then Yahusha said to him, "I promise you, today you will be with me in paradise." It was noon, but it turned dark throughout the whole land until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, because the sun stopped shining. The veil in the temple was torn into 2 pieces from top to bottom. Yahusha shouted, "Father, into your hands I give my spirit." After Yahusha said this, he died. The army officer there saw what happened. He praised Elohim, saying, "Truly, this was a righteous man." Many people had come out of the city to see all this. When they saw it, they felt great sorrow and went away. The people who were close friends of Yahusha were there also, and there were some friends and women who had followed Yahusha from Galilee. They all stood far away from the torture stake and watched these things. A man named Joseph was there from the town of Arimathea. He was a good and righteous man who lived the way Elohim wanted. He was waiting for the kingdom of heaven to come. Joseph was a member of the Jewish council, but he did not agree when the other Jewish leaders decided to kill Yahusha. He went to Pilate and asked for the body of Yahusha. He took the body down from the torture stake and wrapped it in cloth. Then he put it in a tomb that was dug in a wall of rock. This tomb had never been used before. It was late on preparation day, and when the sun went down, the first high Sabbath of Passover would begin. The women who had come from Galilee with Yahusha followed Joseph. They saw the tomb. Inside it they saw where he put Yahusha's body. Then they left to prepare some sweet-smelling spices to put on the body. Then on the high Sabbath day they rested as commanded in the law of Moses. Chapter 24. in the early hours of the first day of the week, very late Saturday night or Sunday morning after the Sabbath, the women came to the tomb where Yahusha's body was laid. They brought the sweet-smelling spices they had prepared. They saw that the heavy stone that covered the entrance had been rolled away. They went in, but they did not find the body of the Master Yahusha. They did not understand this. While they were wondering about it, 2 men in shining clothes stood beside them. The women were afraid, very afraid. They bowed down with their faces to the ground. The men said to them, "Why are you looking for a living person here? This is a place for dead people. Yahusha is not here. He has risen from the dead. Do you remember what he said in Galilee? He said the Son of Man must be handed over to the control of sinful men, be killed on a torture stake, and rise from the dead on the 3rd day." Then the women remembered what Yahusha had said. The women left the tomb and went to the 11 disciples and the others. They told them everything that happened at the tomb. These women were Mary Magdalene, Joanna, Mary, the mother of James, and some others. They told Yahusha's disciples everything that happened, but they did not believe what they said. It sounded like nonsense. But Peter got up and ran to the tomb to see himself. He looked in, but he saw only the cloth that Yahusha's body had been wrapped in. It was just lying there. Peter went away to be alone, wondering what had happened. That same day, 2 of Yahusha's disciples were going to a town named Emmaus. It is about 12 kilometers from Jerusalem. They were talking about everything that had happened. While they were talking, discussing these things, Yahusha himself came near and walked with them. But the 2 men were not allowed to recognize Yahusha yet. He asked them, "What's this I hear you discussing to each other as you walk?" The 2 men stopped, their faces looking very sad. The one named Cleopas said, "You must be the only person in Jerusalem who doesn't know what has just happened there." Yahusha said, "What are you talking about?" They said, "It's about Yahusha, the one from Nazareth. To Alahim and to all the people he was a great prophet. He said and did many powerful things, but our leaders and priests handed him over to be judged and killed. They nailed him to a torture stake. We were hoping that he would be the one to free Israel. But then all this happened, and now something else. It has been 3 days since he was killed, but today some of our women told us an amazing thing. Early this morning they went to the tomb where the body of Yahusha was laid, but they did not find his body there. They came and told us they had seen some angels in a vision. The angels told them Yahusha was alive. So some of our group went to the tomb too. It was just as the woman said. They saw the tomb, but they did not see Yahusha." Then Yahusha said to the 2 women, "You are foolish and slow to realize what is true. You should believe everything the prophets said. The prophets said the Messiah must suffer these things before he begins his time of esteem." Then he began to explain everything that had happened and had been written about himself in the scriptures. He started with the books of Moses, and then he talked about what the prophets had said about him. Then he came near the town of Emmaus. And when they came near the town of Emmaus, and Yahusha acted as if he did not plan to stop there. But they wanted him to stay. They begged him, "Stay with us, it's almost night. There's hardly any daylight left." So he went in to stay with them. Joining them at the supper table, Yahusha took some bread and gave thanks. Then he broke some off and gave it to them. Just then the men were allowed to recognize him. But as soon as they saw who he was, he suddenly disappeared. They said to each other, "When he talked to us on the road, it felt like a fire burning in us. How exciting it was when he explained to us the true meaning of the scriptures." So the 2 men got up then and went back to Jerusalem. There they found the disciples of Yahusha meeting together, the 11 disciples and the people with them. They all said, "The Master really has risen from dead. He appeared to Simon." Then the 2 men told what had happened on the road. They talked about how they recognized Yahusha when he shared the bread with them. While the 2 men were saying these things to the other disciples, Yahusha himself came and stood among them. He said to them, "Hello there, peace be with you." This surprised his disciples. They were afraid.
They thought they were seeing a ghost. But Yahusha said, "Why are you so troubled? Why do you doubt what you see? Look at my hands and my feet. It's really me. Touch me. I'm all flesh and bones in a living body. A ghost doesn't have a body like this, does it?" After Yahusha told them this, he showed them his hands and his feet. His followers were amazed and ecstatically happy to see that Yahusha was alive. They still could not fully believe what they saw. He said to them, "Do you have any food here?" They gave him a piece of cooked fish. While his disciples watched, he took the fish and ate it. Yahusha said to them, "Remember when I was with you before? I said that everything written about me must happen, everything written in the law of Moses and the books of the prophets and the Psalms." Then Yahusha helped his disciples understand these scriptures about him. Yahusha said to them, "It is written that the Messiah would be killed and rise from the dead on the third day. You saw these things happen. You are witnesses. You must go and tell people that they must repent and turn to Alahim, which will bring them his forgiveness. You must start from Jerusalem and tell this message in my name to the people of all nations. Remember that I will send you the One, the Spirit that my Father promised. Stay in the city until you are given that power from heaven." So Yahusha led his disciples out of Jerusalem, almost to Bethany. He raised his hands and blessed his disciples, and while he was blessing them, he was separated from them and carried into the heaven. They worshipped him and went back to Jerusalem very happy. They stayed at the temple all the time, praising Alahim. That was the Behaviour Revolution Scriptures, Book of Luke. Thank you.